Chapter 5131. May I know the grade of your elixir? Would you like to auction it or sell it to our auction house? A blue-eared elf girl asked with a smile. Anything brought by a star-grade expert would definitely not be simple. Moreover, they were just maids. They could not be compared to star-grade experts like Jiang Chen and Jiang Lu. A pinnacle grade 8 elixir, the Great Recovery Pill. Jiang Chen said faintly. What? A pinnacle grade 8 elixir? The elf girl's face was filled with shock and disbelief. Such an elixir could only be found by luck. Even a pinnacle star-grade expert would definitely scramble for it. Such an elixir was not something she could appraise or purchase. Senior, please wait for a moment. I will go and invite the manager to appraise it for you. This way, please. The elf girl stepped back and went to the VIP seats at the back, inviting Jiang Chen and Chen Lu to join her. Are you really planning to sell your Great Recovery Pill? That would be such a pity. Chen Lu gritted her teeth and said in a low voice. The Great Recovery Pill was a top-grade elixir. Moreover, it was a 10-rune elixir. Even she yearned to obtain one. Brother Jiang Chen actually wanted to sell it. Anyone who obtained such an elixir would definitely treasure it. It was equivalent to a life-saving item. Who wouldn't fight for it? Speaking of which, I forgot to give you some. Jiang Chen smiled. After the elf girl left, he flipped his palm and took out 10 Great Recovery Pills and handed them to Chen Lu. I'll give it to you. These 10 elixirs can be considered as my compensation to you. Just don't think it's too little. After all, you provided all the ingredients for the Great Cyclic Elixir. I can't be biased. Chen Lu's expression changed as she looked at the 10-rune elixir in Jiang Chen's hand. These are actually 10 10-rune elixirs? She couldn't believe that it was a Great Recovery Pill at the peak of the 8th grade. She thought that since Jiang Chen had given her clan 5 Great Recovery Pills, he wouldn't have many left. But at this moment, Jiang Chen actually gave her 10 Great Recover Pills without hesitation. And he didn't even feel the pinch at all. This caused Chen Lu's face to be filled with fear. Wasn't this too precious? No, big brother Jiang Chen, this is too precious. I can't accept it. Chen Lu repeatedly declined. I still have a lot here. Hurry up and take it. It's not something precious. If you run out of food in the future, just ask me for more. Jiang Chen had an indifferent look on his face, but Chen Lu's heart was unable to calm down for a long time. Big brother Jiang Chen, isn't he a little too abnormal? But thinking about how he defeated the leaders of 2 major factions in the western border and heavily injured the half-step cosmic cloud state Yitianan, she understood. She only knew a limited amount of big brother Jiang Chen's secrets. His power was unbelievable. Jiang Chen's mysteriousness had left him in the dust. This time, big brother Jiang Chen must have really concocted a lot of Great Restore pills, and they were all 10 vein pills. Such wealth and such courage were rarely seen in this world. Then I won't reject it. Thank you, big brother Jiang Chen. Chen Lu smiled sweetly and nervously took the 10 Great Recovery Pills from Jiang Chen's hand. Her heart couldn't calm down at all. Big brother Jiang Chen had given him so many great rejuvenating pills. It seemed like his position in Jiang Chen's heart was quite high. Even the Chen family had only given him 5 great rejuvenating pills, and he alone had 10. Chen Lu was incomparably happy. Big brother Jiang Chen must like her, but he couldn't be with her right now. There were just too many things that he had to face. He needed to find his children, his brothers and sister Luoying. Even if she had deep feelings for him, he would still be afraid of hurting her. Chen Lu believed that she was still very important in big brother Jiang Chen's heart. In a trance, the door was pushed open. Jiang Chen raised his head and saw an old man wearing a scarf walking in with a smile. He was a 6th Heavenly Layer Star Realm expert, but he didn't expect that these 2 people were stronger than him. Moreover, he couldn't even see through their cultivation bases. Sorry to keep you 2 waiting. The old man chuckled and nodded. These 2 powerful experts must have brought something extraordinary with them. I'm Gong Lianqing, the manager here. I wonder if little brother can take a look at your pills? Gong Lianqing said. If he wanted to appraise and sell it, he must take a good look. Moreover, the difference in grades of pills was very big. The same pill, if the grade was too different, the price would be heaven and earth. It was just a peak 8th grade pill, Great Recovery Pill. It was Gong Lianqing's first time seeing this kind of pill. He heard others say that it was very precious. If someone had this kind of pill, why would they sell it themselves? They were all treasured by themselves. Who would want to sell these things? Therefore, Gong Lianqing didn't believe it at first. It was either a very ordinary defective pill. But even if it was a defective Great Recovery Pill, the price was very high. It was hard to find one. Jiang Chen looked at Gong Lianqing. This guy was typical of people who didn't believe him. However, it was understandable that he wanted to see the pill. After all, goods were sold at the market price, and a price could only be set after seeing the goods. Jiang Qin chuckled and took out a great recovery pill. Gong Lianqing was stunned when he saw the great recovery pill. Terrifying Genesis chi filled the air, filling the entire room. His eyes unblinkingly stared at this scene. This pill was too shocking. The great recovery pill had already surpassed his understanding. It was the first time he had seen such a pill in his life. Chen Lu looked at this scene with a smile on her face. Not to mention Gong Lianqing, even she herself was shocked when she saw the great recovery pill concocted by big brother Jiang Qin. As it turned out, this pill was enough to make Gong Lianqing dumbfounded. Could this be the legendary 10-rune pill? Gong Lianqing stuttered. His expression was incomparably grim as he looked at Jiang Qin with an incomparably grave expression. That's right, it is a peak 10-rune grade 8 pill. Jiang Qin nodded. Gong Lianqing unblinkingly stared at the pill. His face was filled with excitement as he held it in his hand. A 10-rune pill. How could he possibly have it? Gong Lianqing had only heard of it in legends, but when he saw it with his own eyes, Gong Lianqing knew that he couldn't hold himself back any longer. This pill was simply too precious. At least in his eyes he would never sell this 10-rune pill if it was his. How is it? How much is this pill worth? Chapter 5132. Jiang Qin's words pulled Gong Lianqing back to reality. His face was grim as he mused, but he didn't know what kind of price to give. If it were a healing pill, the price would be slightly lower. After all, it had to be targeted. However, a 10-mark pill that could recover one's essence chi was definitely priceless. This was equivalent to having an extra life in a life-and-death battle. It could give you more power and opportunities. It was definitely no joke to save your life at a crucial moment. It wasn't hard to imagine how much a human life was worth. Everyone who reached this level of cultivation was afraid of death. Once they died, it would be the end of everything. That was why the great recovery pill was so precious. This pill should be able to instantly recover a peak star state's combat power. Gong Lianqing looked at Jiang Qin. Half-step cosmic cloud state should be able to do it too. Jiang Qin's words made Gong Lianqing hold his breath. He took a deep breath. He was just guessing, but Jiang Qin's words were definitely true. After all, this was a 10-veined pill. This baby was way too awesome. As the saying goes, the rarer something is, the greater its value. If it was a 6-rune or 7-rune pill, Gong Lianqing would be able to offer a price. However, this was a 10-rune pill. He wasn't prepared at all. In our HSBC auction house, a 4-rune grade 8 great recovery pill was auctioned for 100,000 grade 9 source stones. Gong Lianqing said with a heavy breath. His salary in the HSBC auction house for 100 years was only 8,000 grade 9 origin stones. In other words, it would take him more than 1,000 years to be able to afford a grade 8 great restore pill with 4 veins. Moreover, it was something that could only be obtained through luck. This 10-rune pill should be worth at least 800,000 to 1 million grade 9 source stones. Gong Lianqing wasn't stingy at all. Jiang Qin and Chen Lu glanced at each other. They were quite shocked. Jiang Qin didn't expect this peak 8th grade great revitalizing pill to be so terrifyingly valuable. Of course, it also had something to do with its existence. There would definitely be people who would pay any price for this life-saving item. Not bad, it met my expectations. Jiang Qin smiled. Little brother, are you really willing to part with it? If you're willing, I'll go find our leader now and talk to you in detail. Gong Lianqing asked cautiously. Fine, I don't think you can make the decision. I still have a few great recover pills. If the price is right, I'll sell them to your auction house. Jiang Qin said. Gong Lianqing was completely dumbfounded. What? How many more 10 marks great rejuvenating pills are there? Oh my god. Gong Lianqing's entire body trembled, his face extremely pale. He indeed didn't have the ability to negotiate. This involved tens of millions of grade 9 origin stones, and he didn't have the authority to do so. However, Jiang Qin's words completely shocked him. You really can't judge a book by its cover. His excitement was beyond words. With so many recover elixirs and all of them were 10-vein elixirs, it was bound to cause a stir in the entire Lin and city, no, the entire Tang of the Eastern land. Sir, please wait for a moment. I'll go find our leader now. Gong Lianqing nodded and left the room. His back was already drenched in sweat. Now he had to go find the leader because he didn't have the authority to negotiate such a big deal. These two people seemed to be really not simple. After Gong Lianqing left, Chen Lu stuck out her tongue and said to Jiang Qin with a grateful face, Brother Jiang Qin, I just thought that this recover pill was very valuable, but I didn't expect it to be so valuable. The rarer something is, the greater its value. Moreover, this recover pill is extremely important to anyone. It can save your life at the moment of life and death. Who wouldn't be moved by it? Jiang Qin said with a smile. This seemed to be within his expectations, but such a price still shocked Jiang Qin. This time you're really rich, brother Jiang Qin. I'll have to rely on you in the future. Qin Lu smiled sweetly. However, she suddenly felt that her words might have been too ambiguous. In an instant, her charming face turned red. Don't worry. With me around, I definitely won't let you suffer a loss. Jiang Qin's words made Qin Lu's heart feel as happy as if she had eaten honey. Brother Jiang Qin's eyes were as gentle as water, making Qin Lu extremely happy. Not long after, the door to the VIP room was pushed open again. This time, the person who entered was a girl wearing a lotus-colored dress. The girl was very tall and her figure was extremely hot. She had bright eyes and white teeth. Her eyes were like waves and the corners of her mouth were bright red and flirtatious. She made men unable to stop even if they wanted to. This girl was pure yet flirtatious, delicate yet charming. However, her strength wasn't weak at all. At the very least, Jiang Qin could feel a considerable amount of pressure coming from this girl. So strong. This girl was really not simple. Moreover, her face was full of smiles. There was no trace of it, so people couldn't tell what exactly she meant. I'm Xuanhuan, the person in charge here. Friend, this elixir has really broadened my horizons. I never dreamed that I would be able to see a 10-mark elixir, and it's even at the peak of the 8th grade. It's really a pleasant surprise. Xuanhuan's red lips parted slightly, and her smile was as gentle as jade. However, at this moment, Qin Lu was very unhappy because this woman had seriously threatened her position in Brother Jiang Qin's heart. Brother Jiang Qin clearly looked at her a few more times. This woman was really too infuriating. The jealousy between women was unimaginable to anyone. When Qin Lu saw Xuanhuan, the two women were somewhat at odds with each other. However, in Jiang Qin's eyes, this wasn't a big deal because he didn't notice these problems at all. This was a competition between the two women. It wasn't because of Jiang Qin, but neither of them wanted to be inferior to the other woman. You flatter me, Jiang Qin said. How many recover pills do you have, sir? As long as the price is right, our auction house will buy all of them. Xuanhuan's smile was very elegant, like a spring breeze. Can you really buy as many as you want? What about 100? Jiang Qin also said with a bright smile, and his eyes met Xuanhuan's. Xuanhuan's mouth moved slightly. You're kidding. I only have 10. After Jiang Qin said that, Xuanhuan's expression changed slightly. What do you mean by only have 10? Isn't he looking down on me? However, Xuanhuan's expression was still very serious and shocked when she heard that there were 10 10-mark recover pills. Sir, are you serious? Can you really take out 10 great recover pills? Before Xuanhuan's voice died away, 10 recover pills had already appeared in Jiang Qin's hands. Chapter 5133. Don't judge a book by its cover. The sea was immeasurable. Xuanhuan didn't expect that this ordinary-looking young man in front of her could take out 10 recover pills at the same time. Most importantly, they were all 10-mark pills. This was unbelievable. A 10-rune pill was enough to make countless people go crazy. Even she was filled with excitement. Although she had seen countless people and treasures, she had never seen a 10-rune pill before. The Great Recover Pill was an extremely rare pill that could swiftly recover one's Genesis Chi. Such a pill could only be found by luck and not sought after. Let alone a 10-rune pill, even a 5 or 6-rune pill would be fought over by countless people. The 10 runes Great Revitalizing Pill in Jiang Qin's hand was like a sudden clap of thunder to Xuanhuan. Her heart was in turmoil. This pill was too amazing. This would be the biggest transaction of the auction house in the past few thousand years. One was enough to shock the world and move cosmic cloud states. 10. Oh my god, this would be an unimaginable amount of wealth. Furthermore, these 10 elixirs would definitely elevate the status of the HSBC auction house. 10 pills. Xuanhuan murmured. Xuanhuan murmured. The shock in her heart was at its peak. At this moment, Xuanhuan looked at Jiang Qin with a pair of lustful eyes. What kind of person could refine so many pills? If he wasn't a cosmic cloud state, he definitely wouldn't have such means. However, Jiang Qin clearly wasn't a cosmic cloud state. Was there someone else behind him? Sir, are you planning to sell all of these pills or auction them off? If you are willing to sell them, the auction house is willing to bid for each pill at the price of 1.2 million grade 9 source stones. What do you think? Xuanhuan's smile was elegant and calm, but she was extremely excited. Even a cosmic cloud state would be jealous of these pills. Something that could save one's life was more than 100 times better than some useless pills. Especially for those who like to wander in the eternal world, an extra life could often allow them to reach the heavens in one step. When a person died, no amount of money or treasures would matter. However, a 10 runes great revitalizing pill would allow them to regain everything. The value of such a pill was self-evident. 1. 2 million grade 9 source stones. This price wasn't low. After all, although this pill was precious and everyone wanted it, not many people could take out grade 9 source stones, especially those below the cosmic cloud state. If a cosmic cloud state took out 1 million source stones, it would be understandable. Only a wealthy family would have the confidence. Even Qianlu, who was watching from the side, was a little dumbfounded. To think that these 10 great cyclic pills would have such a horrifying value. This was truly unimaginable. Jiang Qin had given her so much. It was hard for Qianlu to part with this friendship, and it was even harder for her to repay him. Big brother Jiang Qin was just too good to her. When this woman looked at big brother Jiang Qin, her eyes were filled with greed, as if she couldn't wait to swallow big brother Jiang Qin. This kind of woman was just too dangerous. As the manager of the auction house, Tang Wan's attitude made Qianlu feel a great sense of danger. She didn't have a good impression of this woman. This price is indeed not bad. It seems I can't reject it. Jiang Qin shrugged and smiled. After all, 12 million grade 9 source stones were enough for him to cultivate for a long time. Not many cosmic cloud states could be as confident as him. Sir, you are so funny. It seems that our cooperation will be very pleasant. Tang Wan gently flipped her hair. Her eyes were sparkling, but Jiang Qin's expression remained the same. He turned a deaf ear. Tang Wan's good impression was obviously because of the great recovery pills. He wasn't narcissistic enough to think that someone had fallen in love with him. I hope so. However, I have one more thing that I hope Miss Tang can help me with. If Miss Tang can help me, I am willing to sow another 10 great recovery pills. Jiang Qin said solemnly. Tang Wan's expression froze. She was stunned and stared at Jiang Qin in disbelief. 10 great restore pills? How big of a deal would this be? Even in the entire Tang of the East, there might not be anyone who could offer such a generous reward. Tang Wan was even more shocked. Where did this guy get so many great revitalizing pills from? It seemed that his identity must be extraordinary. Things that were like treasures to her were worth so little in the hands of Jiang Qin. However, Tang Wan was not stupid. She knew that what Jiang Qin wanted to ask of her must be extremely difficult. But for Tang Wan, she still had some faith in the Tang of the East and the entire Tianqian star. Sir, please speak your mind. What do you need my help with? Tang Wan asked. Looking at Jiang Qin's serious expression, it must be a big deal to him. I want to find a person called Jiang Feng. He is not from the Tianqian star, nor is he from the Sky Tyrant star field. However, I have found out that he is in the Sky Tyrant star field. Miss Tang has a wide network. If you can help me find information about Jiang Feng, I will give you 10 great recovery pills. Jiang Qin stared at Tang Wan with burning eyes. Sir, may I ask who this person is? It's my son. I've been looking for him for many years. I came from Heavenly Revelation Starfield to find my son, Jiang Feng. If Miss Tang can help me find him, I, Jiang Qin, will be eternally grateful. Jiang Qin looked serious. After all, this was not his territory. Moreover, Tang Wan was the manager of the largest auction house in the Tang of the East. She must have a wide network of people and information. All the merchants passing through the Tang of the East passed through the Tianqian star. It could be said that any information that passed through the Tang of the East would not escape Tang Wan's hands. All right. Since that is the case, I will do my best. Furthermore, Sir's 10 great recover pills are very important to our auction house. I, Tang Wan, will definitely do my best to help you find Jiang Feng. Tang Wan's expression was serious, not only because she wanted to please Jiang Qin, but also because the value of 10 great recovery pills was immeasurable. If she could find any information about Jiang Feng, it would be like reaching the heavens in a single step. Although she had obtained the 10 great recovery pills, the other 10 were the revenge that Jiang Qin had promised. Money could make the devil turn millstones. Tang Wan was no exception. Everyone in the world was motivated by money. This was a fact that no one could change. Thank you, Miss Tang. Jiang Qin nodded. Sir, how did you make these pills? Tang Wan smiled. My master made them. I don't have the means to do so. However, my master doesn't want me to reveal his name. Chapter 5134. Tang Wan's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that Jiang Qin's master was also a terrifying master. Perhaps he was a cosmic cloud state. This wasn't something Jiang Qin could do right now. He must be a cosmic cloud state to be able to take out so many of these pills so casually, and they were all 10 rune pills. Even if he wasn't, Jiang Chen's master must be a terrifyingly powerful expert, and an expert in alchemy. It was fine to offend an alchemy master, but if you offended a true alchemy master, it would undoubtedly be a disaster. The influence of an alchemy grandmaster wasn't something ordinary people could compare with. With Jiang Chen's power, it wasn't impossible for his master to command a few cosmic cloud states. Since he didn't want to tell her, Tang Wan chose to remain silent. Otherwise, if she angered him, it wouldn't be something that could be resolved with just a few sentences. It wasn't that Tang Wan couldn't afford to offend such a person, but she didn't need to. Who would go against money? Even if Jiang Chen robbed it, it was his ability. Other people couldn't do it. In that case, I'm sorry, sir. I was rude. I will do my best to do what you ask of me. I also hope you can find your beloved son soon. Tang Wan smiled. 10 vein great revitalizing pills, this was not an ordinary temptation. She absolutely had to find information about this Jiang Feng. This kind of opportunity could not be missed, it would not come again. Even if she couldn't be on good terms with Jiang Chen, she must not offend him. Otherwise, it would be a huge loss for the HSBC auction house. Back then when her father passed the auction house to her, he had once told her that she mustn't underestimate anyone. The universe was vast, and the origins weren't something they could probe. The eternal world was boundless and boundless. Who knows when a supreme expert, an existence they couldn't even come into contact with, would descend upon the Tiantian planet. If they underestimated anyone, it would be a disaster for them. Being humble was the right thing to do. Always have the heart of an apprentice. Here are 12 million grade 9 origin stones. Please accept them, sir. We will be holding an auction in the next few days. It will be very lively and there will be many treasures. I hope that sir will be able to attend. Tang Wan handed a black jade card to Jiang Chen. This is only available to our black gold members. As long as you have any requests, we will satisfy them. Thank you, I will definitely come to support you. Jiang Chen nodded. I still have something to do, so I won't bother you any longer. I'm staying at the South City Inn. If you have any news, Miss Tang, feel free to find me. Jiang Chen will be waiting for you. Farewell. After speaking, Jiang Chen left the HSBC auction house. Tang Wan narrowed her eyes. This guy seemed to have an extraordinary background. This guy is really generous. Miss, do we need to investigate this person's background? After Jiang Chen and the others left, Gong Lianqing quietly appeared beside Tang Wan. No need. Tang Wan said indifferently. What if this elixir came from a shady background? Gong Lianqing was taken aback. You still dare to provoke someone who can turn the Western region upside down? Tang Wan sneered and looked at Gong Lianqing. Miss, you mean he's an expert from the Western region? Gong Lianqing asked in a low voice. Not long ago, the Western region suffered heavy losses in the war. The three great forces were almost reshuffled. Then, a person appeared out of nowhere and pacified the three great forces. That person is him. Tang Wan said. What? Gong Lianqing's face changed. His whole body trembled as he looked in the direction Jiang Chen had left in disbelief. Although this news was blocked, Tang Wan, who stood at the top of the pyramid, was still clear about it. After leaving the HSBC auction house, Chen Lu's face was extremely ugly, which surprised Jiang Chen. What's wrong with you? Lulu, are you not feeling well? You don't look too good. Jiang Chen asked. Yeah, how can my complexion be better than Miss Tang's? Chen Lu said indifferently with a smile at the corner of her mouth. Jiang Chen was stunned for a moment before he burst into laughter. It seemed that Chen Lu was jealous. Although the two of them didn't make a pledge of eternal love, Jiang Chen was still very clear about Chen Lu's feelings for him. I know I'm not Sister Luoying and I don't have the right to be jealous, but I just don't like her. Look at how eager she is to you, as if she can't wait to eat you up. This woman is not a good person at first glance. Chen Lu curled her lips and said. I'm afraid you'll be fooled and fall into her honey trap. Jiang Chen couldn't help but smile. I can even resist your honey trap, let alone her. She's more coquettish than me. She's so flirtatious and knows how to flirt. She's not a good person at first glance. Chen Lu said unwillingly. Never mind, I'm going to sell pills, not a beauty pageant. She's a famous figure in the Tang dynasty. I can't compare to the manager of the HSBC auction house. Jiang Chen smiled. If she knew that you don't have a master, she would probably want to marry you. You're a powerful being with great talent. You don't know how attractive you are. How charming are you? I dare say that your pill concoction skills are unparalleled on the entire Tiantian planet. Even cosmic cloud states are no match for you. Chen Lu looked at Jiang Chen with anticipation. Even I don't know that I'm this popular? Jiang Qin shrugged. You're wrong. I'm just interested in this woman's ability. Besides, it's you who told me about the HSBC auction house. The manager here is very powerful. In the whole Tang, even in the whole Tianqian Star, this place is the most well-informed place. So, if there's any news about Feng I think she can only appear here. Jiang Qin said seriously. I know, brother Jiang Qin, I don't mean anything else. Don't be mad at me, okay? Qin Lu's heart was filled with mixed feelings. She was worried that big brother Jiang Qin would abandon her. After all, Tang Wan was so outstanding and there was no way she could compare with her. She couldn't help but feel inferior and disappointed. I know, hurry up and rest. It's getting late. The auction is in 2 days. Jiang Qin smiled. Nothing happened during the night. Jiang Qin had been cultivating silently for the past few days, waiting for the auction to begin. However, the person he was looking forward to the most was naturally Tang Wan, but it wasn't because of her. He was hoping that Tang Wan could bring him some exciting news. But clearly she didn't. Brother Jiang Qin, we should go to the auction. Chapter 5135. Jiang Qin followed Qin Lu to the HSBC auction house. Today was the day of the HSBC auction house's annual auction. The yearly auction was the grandest auction held once a year. This time the auction house attracted a lot of people. There were hundreds of thousands of people. The entrance of the HSBC auction house was crowded with people waiting to take their seats. The annual auction of the HSBC auction house is so lively. Every year there are so many people coming from all over the world. I've come all the way from the Central Plains. I hope that the yearly auction won't disappoint me. Do you know where I came from? I came from the Woodland Star. I heard that the annual auction of the HSBC auction house is one of the biggest events within 100,000 light years. That's right. The annual auction of the HSBC auction house will not disappoint you. Every year many people come to the HSBC auction house. Because of that, the HSBC auction house is getting bigger and bigger. There are guests from all over the world, including countless star wanderers. As long as they get their hands on something good, they will come here to sell it. That's right. As one of the top 3 hubs in the Sky Tyrant starfield, the Tianqian Star has a lot of information and resources. Countless people sighed. They were waiting to enter the viewing area at the foot of the HSBC auction house. When Jiang Qin and Qin Lu arrived, Gong Lianqing recognized them immediately and ran towards them. Mr. Jiang Qin, this way please. This is the HSBC auction house's VIP channel. Our mistress has prepared the best viewing area for you. Gong Lianqing said with a smile. He who is unaccountably solicitous is hiding evil intentions. Qin Lu murmured and curled her lips. I'm just doing this out of goodwill. Jiang Qin pointed at the sea of people. There were tens of thousands of people. It was definitely not easy for them to be able to enter the VIP passage. Both of you, please. Gong Lianqing smiled. Lulu, is that really you? A surprised voice sounded beside Jiang Qin and Qin Lu's ears. A tall and handsome young man with a well-built body appeared in front of them. He was dressed in a luxurious robe and looked very handsome. Young Master Zhou is here. Gong Lianqing nodded and said. Obviously, he knew the young master in front of him. Young Master Zhou. Qin Lu nodded her head, her brows tightly knitted together. From the looks of it, she did not seem to be too fond of this young Master Zhou. When young Master Zhou saw Jiang Qin, his face turned cold. What right does this guy have to stand beside Lulu? Who is he? Xuanhuan's anger soared. His face darkened, and Qin Lu's attitude towards him made him even angrier. It was definitely because of this bastard. Back then, Qin Lu had never treated him like this. I'm from the Zhou clan of the main hall. Who are you? Who do you think you are to stand beside Lulu? Lulu is the goddess in my heart. Who do you think you are? Xuanhuan's face was cold as he scolded Jiang Qin. Young Master Zhou, this is an honored guest of our HSBC auction house. Today is the day of the annual auction. Young Master Zhou, please go first. Gong Lianqing said with a smile. How would he dare to offend young Master Zhou? The Zhou clan was one of the 4 great clans of Great Tang, and Xuanhuan was the eldest son of the Zhou clan. In the entire Great Tang he could do whatever he wanted. Who would dare to say no to him? But from the looks of it he was still holding a grudge against Qin Lu. This Jiang Qin seemed to be giving him a sore in his eyes. Jiang Qin looked at him coldly. You know this mad dog? Jiang Qin frowned. Not familiar. Qin Lu shook her head. Hearing Qin Lu saying that they were not familiar, Xuanhuan was instantly enraged. He must kill this bastard. How dare you scold me? Xuanhuan glared at Jiang Qin and said. What, you mad dog, are you deaf? Jiang Qin smiled. PFFF, Qin Lu's smile could topple a city. She looked at brother Jiang Qin with a smirk. Bastard. How dare you scold my young master? I think you're courting death. I don't care who you are. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and kowtow to my young master. If my young master is in a good mood, he might even leave you with an intact corpse. Before Xuanhuan could speak, the guard beside him was already fuming. Master hasn't said anything yet. Where did this mad dog come from? You're indeed jackals of the same tribe. Jiang Qin's face was cold as he stared at Xuanhuan. You're courting death. The guard flew into a rage out of humiliation and looked at Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan waved his hand, indicating for him to stay put. Young Master Zhou, this Mr. Jiang Qin is also our esteemed guest. Please be magnanimous, hee. Gong Lianqing felt bitter in his heart. No matter if it was Jiang Qin or this young Master Zhou, he couldn't afford to offend either of them. He thought coming here to pick up Mr. Jiang Qin would be a good job, but in the end he found out that both of them were in conflict. What should he do? If it wasn't for your HSBC auction house, do you think he would still be standing here talking to me? Xuanhuan said with an indifferent expression. Yes. Gong Lianqing smiled apologetically. However, I gave you face today, but he didn't give me face. Interesting. In the entire Tang dynasty, there aren't many people who dare to speak to me like this. Who do you think you are? Do you think that I won't dare to touch you just because you're at the HSBC auction house? Xuanhuan said with a sinister expression. Xuanhuan, what are you trying to do? Qin Lu said angrily. What am I trying to do? Of course I want to be with you, Lulu. I feel disgusted to see such a man standing beside you. This kind of trash isn't worthy of you. Which part of me isn't better than him? In terms of background, strength, and talent, I, Xuanhuan, am confident that I'm 10 times better than him. However, you actually chose to be with such trash. You really make my heart ache. Xuanhuan's face was full of sorrow, but he still put on a righteous look. It's not up to you to comment on who I'm with. This is my freedom. Who do you think you are to me? Please shut your mouth and don't spout nonsense. Xuanhuan, if you continue to be like this, I'm afraid that we can't even be friends. Qin Lu's expression darkened. She glanced at her brother Jiang Qin. Brother Jiang Qin was also very angry. His gaze was sharp. She hated this mad dog from the bottom of her heart. However, there was nothing she could do. Who asked them to meet here? Xuanhuan had always been pestering her, but she really didn't care about him at all. Other than me, no one can be with you. Whoever stands beside you, whoever stands in front of me, I will kill them. The heavens are no exception. There's no woman that I, Xuanhuan, can't obtain. Qin Lu, I advise you not to be so ungrateful. Otherwise you'll definitely regret it. Today I'll make him die without a grave. I'll let you know just whose territory Tang dynasty is. Chapter 5136. Xuanhuan was filled with disgust towards Jiang Qin. Qin Lu was the woman he liked and she could only be his woman. This fellow was simply too much of an eyesore. As one of the few young masters of the Great Tang, there was no need to doubt Xuanhuan's status. Only he was worthy of Qin Lu. The two of them had crossed paths many years ago. One of them was a big shot in the western border, while the other was the young master of the Tang Empire. However, the Tang Empire's status and power were obviously stronger than the western border. For Xuanhuan to like Qin Lu, it must be a piece of cake for him. No one could make him lower his head and no one could take away the woman he wanted. Those who stand in my way will die. You better think about it. Some women can't be touched just because you want to. Otherwise you're doomed to die without a burial place. Xuanhuan looked down at Jiang Qin from above. He didn't put Jiang Qin in his eyes at all. Jiang Qin's strength was at most on par with his, but Xuanhuan's strength was extremely terrifying in the entire Great Tang. If he wanted Jiang Qin to die here, he could do it. It seems like you're determined to kill me? Jiang Qin was so angry that he laughed. He looked at Xuanhuan and thought, this guy is really simple-minded. There's another way. Kneel and kowtow to admit your mistake and I'll leave your corpse intact. Otherwise I'll grind your bones to ashes. Xuanhuan didn't care about Gong Lianqing at the side. His eyes met Jiang Qin's. Blades and swords flashed and the killing intent of life and death filled the air. Many people around them looked at them silently with mixed feelings. It seems that this guy is finished. Of all people, he had to provoke Xuanhuan. Yeah, this guy is almost invincible in the Tang Empire. Who would dare to offend him? This guy must be an outsider. He's sacrificing himself for a woman. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. That's right. If it were me, I would have run away the moment I saw Xuanhuan. This guy still dares to confront Xuanhuan. He must be tired of living. Maybe he has the confidence? Aha, what if he's the young master of some big family? Wouldn't there be a good show to watch? Many people sneered at the side. This woman was very beautiful, but in the eternal world, there would never be a lack of beautiful women. What was lacking was strength. As long as you were strong enough, there would be countless women willing to follow you and serve you. Obviously, this young man didn't know this and still wanted to fight with Xuanhuan to the end. He didn't even know where he was. Creating trouble in the human world, wasn't this clearly showing that he didn't want to live? Everyone shook their heads. They were very clear about Jiang Chen's ending. Behind Xuanhuan were 4 peak 8th heavenly layer star realm experts. Who would dare to go against such a formation? If it was an ordinary person, they would have been scared to the point of wetting their pants. It was undeniable that Jiang Chen was very strong. However, in the eyes of the people around, Jiang Chen was like a newborn calf that didn't fear tigers. Moreover, Xuanhuan was notorious. If he knew about Xuanhuan's temper, he definitely wouldn't fight him to the death. Sure enough, a femme fatale was just like that, saying, "Brother Jiang Chen, let's go." "Don't stoop to his level," Chen Lu said softly. She was also very worried that brother Jiang Chen would be threatened by this guy and get hurt. After all, this wasn't the western border. As one of the 4 largest families in the Tang of the East, the Zhou family was very powerful. It wasn't something the Chen family could compare to. After all, the Tang of the East was much larger than the western border. There were many strong people and countless interstellar wanderers. This was the real hodgepodge. To be able to survive in the Tang of the East and stand at the top, one could only imagine his strength. "Do you think he can leave now?" "Chen Lu, I can let you go, but that doesn't mean I'll let the trash beside you go. If I kill him, it'll be as easy as pie. Are you still stubborn? How can a piece of trash like him be a match for you?" Xuanhuan's face was filled with a look of infatuation, causing Chen Lu to feel disgusted. This fellow had harmed countless women, and she had long since heard of it. But now, he actually put on an attitude as if he wanted to fly away with her, causing her to feel disdain in her heart. However, the situation was tense. Moreover, the 4 experts behind Xuanhuan were very cautious and could attack at any time. Watch how I deal with him. I don't believe that you really like Chen Lu. Today I'll let you know what true strength is. Xuanhuan stepped forward with a vigorous aura. His face was extremely cold. He was aiming to kill Jiang Chen with one blow. Once he killed Jiang Chen, he would be Chen Lu's man. At this moment, no one had expected Xuanhuan to be so ferocious. Many people could not help but exclaim in surprise. Even in a place like the Tang of the East, Xuanhuan, who was at the peak of the star level 8, was still an outstanding expert. Not everyone was a top genius. Xuanhuan's attack had caused the crowd to be extremely cautious. It seemed like a light strike, but it contained all of Xuanhuan's strength. It went straight towards Jiang Chen with a devastating force. Countless people's expressions changed when they saw the terrifying force that came crashing down on them. Chen Lu, who bore the brunt of the blow, also had a slight change in her expression. She did not expect Xuanhuan to be so unreasonable. He actually attacked at the HSBC auction house. "No, young Master Zhou." Gong Lianqing's face was full of bitterness. However, he could not control the blow of such an expert. Although Chen Lu was shocked, she did not panic. She knew that big brother Jiang Chen's strength would definitely not lose to Xuanhuan. However, Xuanhuan's action undoubtedly made everyone present cheer. Many people love to watch a good show, especially when the hero saved the damsel in distress. It made many people's blood boil with excitement. At this moment, Jiang Chen finally moved. Just as Xuanhuan's fist was about to land in front of Jiang Chen did not hold back. He punched out like lightning and met Xuanhuan's fist. That feeling shocked countless people. Bang! A deep sound rang in everyone's ears. If it was not for the power of the two of them counteracting the terrifying domineering aura, everyone around them would have been affected. Xuanhuan punched with all his strength, but when his fist landed on Jiang Chen's fist, his heart sank to the bottom of the valley. He had originally thought that even if his punch could not kill Jiang Chen with his strength, it would not be a problem for him to injure him. However, he was wrong. He was the one who suffered the backlash of this punch. The terrifying power spread throughout his body, causing him to tremble and take 10 steps back. At that moment, Xuanhuan's face was full of anger and shock. However, he was still defeated. In their first confrontation, when 2 fists collided, he was actually forced back by Jiang Chen. The crowd at the scene was in an uproar. This ordinary-looking young man was not afraid of the young master of the Zhou clan at all, and had even forced him back with a single punch. It was too domineering. Chapter 5137. An ice-cold, sonorous female voice with boundless majesty rang out in everyone's ears. At this moment, a beautiful figure dressed in red leisurely walked over. Everyone was intimidated by her. There was nothing but respect in their eyes. This was because in the entire Tang dynasty, even the top experts would not dare to make an enemy out of this woman. Xuanhuan's face fell instantly. Even if his father was here, he might not have the guts to confront her. Xuanhuan's angry face was instantly replaced by a smile. "Miss Tang, what are you talking about? How would I dare to cause trouble in your territory?" I'm just joking." Xuanhuan did not dare to look at Tang Wan at all. He smiled. If he chose to confront Tang Wan now, the four big families would probably start a war. This stunning woman could be said to be the most famous person in the Tang dynasty of the East. This was because she was in charge of the entire HSBC auction house. As someone feared by all the astral realms within 100,000 light years, Xuanhuan did not dare to show any anger towards Tang Wan. Otherwise he would be courting death. This guy doesn't know what's good for him. I just wanted to teach him a lesson. That's why you came out, Miss Tang? Xuanhuan looked indifferent. I don't think so. Qin Lu said in a low voice. That's the truth. My guards can testify to that. Xuanhuan said shamelessly. Jiang Qin sneered in his heart. If he had met this piece of trash outside of the HSBC auction house, he would have dealt with him long ago. How could he have allowed him to act tough until now? However, he was in someone else's territory and it was in the unfamiliar Tang dynasty. Therefore Jiang Qin chose to treat him coldly. After all, he still needed to rely on Tang Wan to find his foe. Your words are getting more and more boring. Tang Wan coldly looked at Xuanhuan. Her beautiful eyes flickered, but it wasn't joy. Instead, it was disdain for Xuanhuan. If it wasn't for the Zhou family, she would have already kicked Xuanhuan out of the auction house. Xuanhuan scratched his head and instantly became a well-behaved man. In front of Tang Wan, he did not have the capital to act pretentious. Although Tang Wan was so beautiful and could make people drool, he did not dare to have the slightest bit of covetous thoughts. In the past, there was a person who did not know the immensity of the heavens and the earth who molested Tang Wan, and in the end, his entire clan was exterminated. This matter caused quite a stir in the entire Tang Empire, so for Xuanhuan, this was a hot potato. She was definitely a thorny rose and it was better to stay away from her. Even the Zhou clan, one of the four great clans, didn't want to become enemies with the HSBC auction house. This was because their strength was simply too great and too diverse. They could easily attract countless powers, and this woman didn't dare to take it lightly. Mr. Jiang Qin is my esteemed guest. If you dare to disrespect him, then don't blame me for being impolite, Tang Wan said. Tang Wan said in a deep voice. This Xuanhuan really didn't know what kind of person Jiang Qin was. She didn't know what kind of person Jiang Qin was, but she knew that the person behind Jiang Qin was at least a half-step nebula expert. She didn't want to offend such a person. If his master was stronger, even the entire Great Tang would have to be wary of him. Therefore in Tang Wan's heart, Jiang Qin was still very important. His status wasn't something that Xuanhuan could compete with. Haha, isn't this a case of water rushing against the temple of the Dragon King? Family doesn't know each other. I've sinned. Since that's the case, there's nothing more to say. Miss Tang, I apologize for this matter. Xuanhuan laughed. He was slightly shocked. This Qin Lu definitely didn't have this status. Who was this person? To be able to make Tang Wan treat him so seriously, could it be that this guy was really some kind of expert? Or could it be that the power behind him was terrifying? Tang Wan's status didn't need to be mentioned, but Xuanhuan was very curious about this Jiang Qin. Thinking about how Qin Lu bowed to him and called him Big Brother, Xuanhuan felt that this guy really did have some power. Otherwise, why would this woman listen to him? The auction is about to start. Hurry up and get in. Tang Wan glared at Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan shrugged and quickly entered the auction. However, when Xuanhuan looked at Jiang Qin, his eyes became colder. No matter who you are, I won't let you have a good time in my territory. Jiang Qin, I'll remember you. I'm really sorry, Mr. Jiang Qin. I asked Old Gong to come pick you up, but I didn't expect this to happen. Tang Wan looked at Jiang Qin apologetically. It's fine. I believe Miss Tang also wants to see my power, right? Otherwise, you would have appeared a long time ago, right? Jiang Qin said bluntly. Tang Wan was stunned and blushed. This Jiang Qin actually discovered me? Jiang Qin's words made Tang Wan feel awkward, but it was also a warning to her. Don't try to spy on me. I already know of your existence. Tang Wan smiled bitterly in her heart. It seemed that she was the clown. She thought that everything was under her control, but in the end she was slapped in the face. Jiang Chen's smile made Tang Wan feel even more helpless. This person isn't simple. Although she was a star level 9, she couldn't see through Jiang Chen. Moreover, Jiang Chen discovered her. This was the scariest thing. This person's master must be even more terrifying. This person must not be her enemy. Tang Wan had been managing the HSBC auction house all these years. She knew better than anyone that it was very difficult to make a friend. However, if you want to offend someone, it could be done in an instant. Opening a business, one naturally had to do everything well. I'm sorry for being rude. Mr. Jiang Chen, please. Tang Wan nodded and made a gesture of invitation. But this caused countless people to exclaim in admiration. Who was Tang Wan? How could this guy be treated like this by Tang Wan? He definitely wasn't an ordinary person. The two beauties on the side made countless people envious. Okay. Jiang Chen followed Chen Lu into the auction. At this moment, Tang Wan's expression became more and more playful. A person who could turn the tide of the war at Shijiang was obviously extraordinary. However, Tang Wan didn't know the full story. News of Jiang Chen indeed reached her ears, but it only turned the tide of the war. There was no news of him defeating a half-step cosmic cloud state. If she knew that Jiang Chen defeated a half-step cosmic cloud state, perhaps Tang Wan would respect Jiang Chen even more. Chapter 5138. Looks like this Miss Tang really cares about you. Look at so many people who was personally welcomed by her. You're a big shot, brother Jiang Chen. Chen Lu looked at Jiang Chen with a faint smile. You're wrong. I'm not flirting with her. I'm here for treasure hunting, it has nothing to do with her. But if I have the chance to see this xuanhuan again, I'll definitely chop him into pieces. Jiang Chen said lung lung. Chen Lu's smile faded when she saw Jiang Chen's dark expression. She felt rather guilty. I'm sorry, brother Jiang Chen. It's all my fault. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have been put in such a difficult position by xuanhuan. Chen Lu didn't expect to meet xuanhuan here. Not only did xuanhuan keep pestering her, but more importantly, he had also dragged her big brother Jiang Chen into this, and he was almost injured. Chen Lu's heart was filled with anxiety, and she felt guilty towards her big brother Jiang Chen. Silly girl, I'm not angry at you. That bastard is a hooligan. Why bother with him? If I see him again, I won't let him off. Jiang Chen smiled and patted Chen Lu's head. Chen Lu curled her lips. Her heart was filled with sweetness. As long as brother Jiang Chen isn't angry at me, it's fine. Brother Jiang Chen, thank you. Chen Lu said with a smile. She calmed herself down. At this moment she could finally relax. Gong Lianqing arranged the best VIP seats for the two of them. Not far from them was xuanhuan. There weren't many people in the VIP section, but there were still more than 1,000 of them. After all, the Great Tang Empire was a place where experts gathered. They weren't the only ones with high statuses. Since the HSBC auction house was open for business, they must have made friends with many big shots. As for the people below the stands, there were more than 200,000 to 300,000 people. It was an unimaginable number. There was a hubbub of voices. This was the first time that Jiang Chen had seen such a grand auction. Its scale was unprecedented. The auction hadn't started yet, but there was still a lot of noise. Many people had come prepared. After all, the annual auction was held by the HSBC auction house. Many people might not be able to make it in time. Although it was held once a year, there were too many treasures that passed through the HSBC auction house every year. Who wouldn't be envious? Therefore, every year's annual auction would be a grand banquet. In less than a quarter of an hour, a beautiful girl wearing a white qipao stood at the center of the mountain. Within 100 meters of her, there was an empty space, and she was the only one standing at the center with a smile on her face. She was like a white rose in full bloom, full of sunshine. Esteemed guests, friends from the 5 lakes and 4 seas, hello everyone, I am your chief auctioneer tonight, Cloud. It's my pleasure to be the chief auctioneer of the annual auction. Today our HSBC auction house will be auctioning a total of 300 treasures. Each of them was carefully selected by us. Furthermore, there will be 3 treasures that are exactly the same today. The first one will be the same, and the first one will also be the same. I'm sure it'll be a surprise for everyone. Before Cloud finished speaking, countless people raised their heads in anticipation. 3 treasures that are exactly the same? This made them even more curious. The rarer something is, the greater its value. 3 treasures at once. How can they be auctioned for a high price? Are they trying to make fun of us? It's hard to say. There are so many treasures, how can they all be treasures? I came all the way from planet Jianghu. Could it be that I've been scammed? Could it be that the HSBC auction house is not as good as before? That's hard to say. No one knows what they are. I think we should wait and see. I want to see what kind of tricks this HSBC auction house has up their sleeves. 3 treasures at once and they want us to bid for them? Are they trying to fool us? More and more people started to doubt the HSBC auction house. After all, the HSBC auction house was rich and imposing. How could they have so many similar treasures? How could they whet the appetite of the crowd? There were 200,000 to 300,000 people and there were only 300 items. In other words, only 1 out of 1,000 people would be able to get a treasure. This ratio was quite low. Moreover, some people didn't come for the treasures. The annual auction was always filled with treasures. It was the most prosperous time for the HSBC auction house. Logically speaking, they wouldn't want to ruin their reputation. I wonder what kind of treasures we'll come across this time. Brother Jiangchen, you're a rich man now. There are many treasures in the HSBC auction house. You have to keep your eyes open. Qin Lu said with a smile. She was also very curious about this year's annual auction. She had participated in the annual auction of the HSBC auction house before, but that was many years ago. It was her father who brought her here. I won't be lenient with treasures like jade slips. Jiang Qin nodded. At this moment, Yun Duo's loud and clear voice once again boomed across the entire mountain peak. Friends, the auction has officially begun. Please remain silent. Anyone who dares to cause trouble will be killed without mercy, said Yun Duo with a faint smile. However, her voice was transmitted to the entire mountain peak through the surging Genesis Chi. She seemed to be speaking casually, but her words were filled with domineering authority. Anyone who dared to cause trouble at the HSBC auction house was courting death. Even Zhou Haoran, the eldest young master of one of the 4 great clans of Great Tang, did not have the ability or courage to do so. Next, I will be unveiling the mysterious veil of the first auction item. Let's welcome the first auction item. After Yun Duo finished speaking, a slim and elegant young elf girl carefully carried a tray and presented it. Why are they acting so mysterious? What exactly is this? And they're even bringing out 3 at once. Do they think everyone is a fool? At this time, there were still people whispering amongst themselves. However, the majority chose to believe in the HSBC auction house as they watched in anticipation. Yun Duo gently unveiled the mysterious veil of the treasure. What appeared before them was a pill. This is not an ordinary pill. I believe that everyone present should have already smelled a faint medicinal fragrance that refreshes one's heart, right? This is a grade 9 pill, the Great Recovery Pill. Even a nebula state expert can instantly recover over 50% of their Genesis Chi. I believe it goes without saying how precious such a pill is, right? If an ordinary star state expert eats this pill, they will instantly recover their battle power. It's the same as having an extra life. Don't you think such a treasure is precious? Before Yun Duo's voice faded, gasps of surprise immediately rang out. Many people knew that they had indeed underestimated the HSBC auction house. A top-tier pill like the Great Recovery Pill was something that could only be encountered by luck. Moreover, every single one of them was extremely rare. Moreover, they were auctioning 3 this time. It was one of the 101st auction items, and it was also one of the 201st auction items. Alright, I forgot to tell you that this grade 9 Great Recovery Pill is a 10-rune pill. Chapter 5139. 10-rune Great Huan Pill? How could this be? Everyone's eyes glowed with greed as they stared at the legendary 10-patterned pill. That's right. This was a 10-rune pill that only appeared in the legends, and it was a level 9 Great Huan Pill. How terrifying was this pill? Even though it was only a one-time consumption pill, it was important to know that this pill could save one's life. In this way it was quite worth it. Even an extremely powerful divine weapon might not have such a value. Divine weapons might be damaged too. It could increase one's combat power, but it might not be able to help one during critical moments. The effects of a pill could only be reflected in a life-and-death situation. 10-rune Great Huan Pill? How is this possible? Not to mention seeing it, I haven't even heard of it. Is there really someone who can refine such a pill? Hard to say. I don't know either. This pill is too insane. Even cosmic cloud states can recover their combat power rapidly? Is this for real? 10-rune pill. That's a 10-rune pill. Even if it's a collector's item, it would definitely be a treasure. You guys are really short-sighted. How can it be fake? If the HSBC auction house had a fake item, wouldn't it be disastrous? Why don't you think before speaking? That's right. Brains are a good thing. Too bad you guys don't have it. This item is definitely a treasure that can only be found once in 10,000 years. Plus there are 3 of them at once. 3 auction items. This is really tempting. It's a king right off the bat. This year's annual auction is destined to have quite a lot of treasures. 10-rune Great Huan Pill. Oh my, it's time for us to fight for it, hee. This pill definitely isn't something ordinary people can afford. But, since I've encountered it, I definitely won't let it go. Hee, the HSBC auction house isn't lying to me. Countless people were looking forward to the 10 marks Great Rejuvenating Pill. Everyone wanted an extra life. Everyone wanted the Great Rejuvenating Pill. However, there was only one pill. From the initial doubts to the current excitement, everyone became excited. Even though the Great Cyclic Pill wasn't something that everyone could obtain, the anticipation and excitement were hard to conceal. Even Cloud, who was standing on the stage, was blushing. More and more people had lost their initial doubts. Instead, their eyes were shining brightly. His mouth was unwilling, but his body was honest. There were at least 1,000 people who were interested in this 10 marks Great Rejuvenating Pill. Of course, it was not that the rest of the people were not interested, but their wallets did not allow it. This was a good thing that could make people palpitate with eagerness. However, many people did not have the courage to do so, nor did they have so much money. Such a treasure would definitely not be cheap. Being short of money, they could only watch helplessly. However, many people were curious. What kind of price would this 10 marks Great Huan Pill sell for? Tang Wan, who was standing in the corner, had a knowing smile on her face. She was the one who came up with this idea. If there was only one Great Huan Pill, it would definitely cause countless people to fight over it. However, if 3 appeared at the same time, the price would definitely not be low. Many people were looking forward to it. The most important thing was that the opening had given her an unexpected result. The whole crowd started to get excited. Although every year's auction would earn a lot of money, there had never been such a grand occasion. A 10 marks Great Rejuvenating Pill had brought everyone to a climax. This 10-rune Great Huan Pill is mine. Don't you dare fight me for it. Xuanhuan said with a face full of excitement. This pill was really compatible with him. He had always been looking for a true peerless pill. This pill was simply tailor-made for him. That's not necessarily true. Since young Master Zhou likes it so much, others will definitely like it too. When the time comes, it will all depend on who has the ability to obtain it. Since young Master Zhou wants it, I won't snatch it away from you. Old dog Wu, you must be poor. Everyone in the VIP seats laughed. These people were all people who stood at the peak of the Great Tang. In any case, this pill is mine. Xuanhuan muttered to himself. He clenched his fists tightly and was full of confidence. However, Xuanhuan was definitely not the only one who wanted this 10-rune Great Huan Pill. However, it would definitely be a glorious thing for anyone to come out on top. Although there were 3 10-rune Great Huan Pills, the first one was the most important. The price of the first pill would directly determine the price of the second and third pills. There was more than one person who wanted this pill. Now, more and more people were waiting for the start of the auction. They couldn't wait any longer. Big brother Jiangchen, it seems like your pill is really popular. Qin Lu said with a smile. Her face was flushed red. It could be seen that the value of this pill was enough to make many people go crazy. After all, this pill was something that could only be found by luck. Seeing that everyone is so enthusiastic, I won't keep you in suspense. Next, I will announce that this year's autumn auction has officially begun. The first item is our 10-rune 9th grade Great Huan Pill. The starting price is 800,000 9th grade origin stones. Cloud said with a smile. When the starting price was set at 800,000 9th grade origin stones, she had been shocked. However, Miss Tang had said that this price was only the starting price and that more and more people would definitely rush over. Now that she saw their enthusiasm, perhaps that was not necessarily the case. A 10-rune 9th grade Great Huan Pill and a 10-rune 9th grade Great Huan Pill. The auction instantly reached its peak. 800,000 9th grade origin stones? Isn't that too expensive? Yeah, it's so expensive. I can't afford it. You're thinking too much. They didn't even consider whether you can afford it. Those who can afford it don't care about the price. They only care about the value. That's right. You're too shallow. You're not even in their consideration. Ah. How can you bully people like that? Your words are too hurtful. The crowd roared with laughter. However, at this time they still made up the majority of the crowd. Many people shook their heads inwardly. It seemed like this 9th grade Great Huan Pill was destined to have no fate with them. Only the true elites with enough origin stones could participate in the auction. 800,000 ninth grade origin stones was a price that people below the 5th level of the star realm would not have to worry about, because they were not worthy. 850,000. Although many people thought it was too expensive and many people flinched at the sight of it, there would never be a shortage of rich people in this world. 870,000. 910,000. 920,000. 950,000. I bid 1 million. Chapter 5140. Cloud's eyes were filled with surprise. It seemed that Miss Tang's foresight wasn't something that she could compare with. Her methods were too brilliant, and her control over the price in people's hearts was far beyond that of an ordinary person. A 9th grade great revitalizing pill was as rare as a phoenix's feather or a unicorn's horn. Moreover, a 10-mark pill was even rarer. Therefore this pill became a godly existence. How could it not attract attention? Some people treated it as a life-saving pill, some as a symbol of status, and some as a collector's item. In short, the dominance of this 10-rune pill was different. 1,050,000. 1,080,000. 1,100,000. The popularity of the Great Recovery Pill didn't die down. Instead, it was getting higher and higher. This also happened to heat up the place, making the people at the scene more enthusiastic. Aha, what's the point of increasing by tens of thousands? This Great Recovery Pill, Darkwood King must get it. 1,200,000. A big man with a curly beard said with a domineering face. He gently stroked his beard, full of dominance. 1,200,000? Are you sure you can get it? I've said before, this 10-rune Great Recovery Pill belongs to me. Xuanhuan glanced at Darkwood King. As one of the top experts in Tang Dynasty, Darkwood King wasn't simple, but compared to the Zhou family, he paled in comparison. 1,300,000. However, Darkwood King wasn't an ordinary person. Although Xuanhuan wasn't simple, he wasn't someone to be trifled with. He also had an extraordinary identity. Here it didn't matter how powerful you were or how high your status was. As long as you had money, you would be a distinguished guest of the HSBC auction house. Obviously, Xuanhuan was still immersed in his identity as a young master, but Darkwood King didn't buy it. Do you think I'm afraid of you? 1,400,000. Darkwood King coldly snorted. 1,500,000. If you have the ability, follow me. Xuanhuan crossed his arms in front of his chest with an indifferent expression on his face. To him, the value of this great revitalizing pill was extremely high. Moreover, it wasn't something that just anyone could get their hands on. He had to get this pill no matter what. Big brother Jiangchen, look, the price of these pills is skyrocketing. I want to take my pills out and sell them. Qin Lu said excitedly. This price was too outrageous. 5 million grade 9 source stones was an astronomical figure for a 7th firmament star like her. Very few people were able to accumulate a wealth of 1 million grade 9 origin stones. Only a large corporation or an extremely powerful individual would be able to do so. Tangwan is not simple. She knows how to manage people. If there are too many, it will affect the price, and if there are too few, it will cause a large-scale riot. That's not a good sign. 3 is just right. There will be countless people fighting over it, and it won't offend any big shots. It will all depend on their own financial resources, and those who are capable will get it. Jiang Qin pondered and said. Qin Lu pursed her lips. You're praising me again, but I might not praise you like that. 6 million. The Darkwood King clenched his teeth. He was already close to his limit. It wasn't that he couldn't take out that much money, but the price had far exceeded his expectations. Although this great recovery pill was precious, it wasn't enough to make him spend all his money. However, it was different for Xuanhuan. He was rich and willful. This was the label of the young master of the Zhou clan, one of the 4 great clans. 7 million. Xuanhuan said faintly. At this moment, the entire crowd became solemn and silent. As a member of the Zhou clan, Xuanhuan was rich and overbearing. This made it impossible for anyone to continue competing with him. This price could only be described with one word: outrageous. At this moment, the Darkwood King could only grit his teeth and snort coldly. He had completely lost his initial sharpness. This price was indeed too high for him to continue bidding. Is there anyone who bids higher than young Master Zhou? 7 million grade 9 source stones going once. 7 million grade 9 source stones going twice. 7 million grade 9 source stones. Cloud said with a smile. Her eyes were shining. However, her words were interrupted by someone. 8 million. Jiangchen said. At this time, he had also attracted the attention of the entire crowd. Was the real battle just beginning? However, at this time many people's blood was boiling. The first item of the auction already made their hearts beat faster. This kind of feeling was too good. They couldn't help but feel their hearts beating faster. The price climbed to new heights. Although they weren't the ones bidding, it was still a very shocking thing to see others easily increase the price by 100,000 grade 9 source stones. The corner of Jiang Chen's mouth curved upwards. The great recovering pill was being auctioned off like a raging fire. How could he not interfere? Moreover, xuanhuan was his mortal enemy. At this time he had to add fuel to the fire. Who is this guy? Why haven't I seen him before? Where did he come from? Is he also an interstellar wanderer? He actually has the strength to compete with xuanhuan. Not simple. Never heard of him. However, he doesn't look like someone easy to deal with. He's definitely an expert. Otherwise, why would he dare to challenge xuanhuan? This is interesting. However, the price of this great recovery pill is too terrifying. It really makes people feel uneasy. Haha, the emperor is not anxious but the eunuch is. What are you anxious about? Their challenge has only just begun. This was not just a competition of money, but also a competition of status. Most importantly, in xuanhuan's eyes, Jiang Chen was a thorn in his flesh. Furthermore, he had underestimated Jiang Chen. If he allowed Jiang Chen to suppress him, wouldn't he be ridiculed by others? At this time, xuanhuan would definitely not be afraid. I'm the young master of one of the 4 great clans. Why would I be afraid of you? What a joke. Looks like you want to show off in front of Qinlu. Unfortunately, you don't have the strength to do so. Today I must obtain this great recovery pill. Xuanhuan's face was full of confidence as he said proudly. However, at this time Gong Lianqing was a little dumbfounded. Isn't this pill sold by Mr. Jiang Qin? Why is he still bidding here? What is going on? Miss, look at this. Gong Lianqing looked at Tang Wan and did not know whether to laugh or cry. Looks like this Jiang Qin is not simple. Interesting. Although Tang Wan was surprised, she did not panic. She smiled at the bidding between Jiang Qin and xuanhuan. She seemed to have discovered some clues. 2 million. I want to see how you can compete with me. Chapter 51-41. The two of them were already at loggerheads. Now there was no way they would back down. Even if their bones were crushed, xuanhuan would definitely trample on Jiang Qin. 2 million. Jiang Qin said with a chuckle. Waves of exclamations could be heard from the surroundings. When they looked at Jiang Qin, their faces were filled with astonishment. It seemed like such a powerful expert had come prepared for this battle. Such wealth was not something an ordinary person could have. This person's background was definitely not simple. Xuanhuan was silent. Even he was a little afraid of these people. Did he really have that much money? Where did this kid come from? 4 million. When xuanhuan looked at Qinlu, his confidence was even firmer. He could not lose. 5 million. Jiang Qin was still as calm as ever. Bastard. Xuanhuan's face darkened. At this point it was hard for him to back down. If he gave up on such a good opportunity, the Zhou clan would definitely be laughed at by others. But if he did not give up, the price was too high. He could accept it, but was a 10-mark pill really worth that much? 6 million. Xuanhuan took a deep breath. He kept reminding himself that this was definitely the last time he would raise the bid. Jiang Qin had already reduced the bid price to 5 million, which meant that he had reached his limit. Therefore if he bid 6 million he would be able to win the bid. Watching the two of them continuously bidding, many people's adrenaline levels soared. This kind of auction was too exciting. Moreover, each time the price increased by 100 or 200,000 grade 9 origin stones. Even if it wasn't unprecedented, this auction was definitely the most exciting one in the past 10,000 years. But from the looks of it, the two of them were starting to hesitate. This item was finally going to be auctioned off. Forget it. I can't even win 5 million. Let's not fight anymore. Jiang Qin waved his hand, a helpless expression on his face. Do you think I'm afraid of you? You can't even win 5 million? I'll win it for you at 6 million. As long as this young master is here, you can only be second. Xuanhuan laughed loudly. 250? Wasn't that insulting? Young Master Zhou is being treated as an idiot. That's right. Young Master Zhou is still being complacent. This guy is too stupid. Ah. Did young Master Zhou fall into a trap? This movie is clearly saying that Xuanhuan is an idiot. While everyone was talking about it, Xuanhuan suddenly came to a realization. This Jiang Qin chose to retreat when the price was 5 million. He even said that even 5 million was not enough. Wasn't he pointing at the mulberry and scolding the locust? Xuanhuan was so angry that his face contorted. He glared at Jiang Qin. Although this pill was precious, it was almost double the premium price. Xuanhuan felt a stabbing pain in his heart. Jiang Qin, I'm not done with you. Xuanhuan's face was flushed red. This was too fucking embarrassing. 6 million? Are there any higher ones? Young Master Zhou bids 6 million. Yun Duo's face was flushed red. Who would have thought that the first Great Restore pill would be sold at such a sky-high price 6 million grade 9 origin stones. This price had probably caused 99% of the people present to shrink back in fear. 6 million going once. 6 million going twice. 6 million going thrice. Sold. Cloud made the final decision and said with a bright smile. 6 million for the Great Recovery Pill. Congratulations, young Master Zhou. Jiang Qin said with a smile. Xuanhuan's face was ashen. The corner of his mouth twitched. He was about to die from anger. This price had far exceeded his expectations. It had even exceeded 1 million grade 9 origin stones. Even a wealthy young master like Xuanhuan felt his heart ache when he saw this. 6 million 9th grade origin stones. TSK. Young Master Zhou is indeed young Master Zhou. We can't even catch up. Yes, young Master Zhou won first place. Not simple, not simple. Ah. What an idiot. No matter how valuable this pill is, how could it be worth this price? He has nowhere else to spend his money. You can't say that. Even if young Master Zhou likes it, you can't do anything about it. That's true. Money can't buy my happiness. We can't experience the life of the rich. Some sharp words from the crowd entered Xuanhuan's ears. His face was filled with displeasure. Being able to bid for this Great Recovery Pill meant that he had a lot of face. However, he was a spendthrift. He had spent too many origin stones. You still haven't bid for me, right? It's useless to say anything else. You can only concede defeat in my hands. Xuanhuan gritted his teeth. A cooked duck is still stubborn. At the end of the day, this pill is mine. You have one? You don't say. I do have one. Jiang Qin took out a Great Recovery Pill. At this time, Xuanhuan's face turned green. How did you get a Great Recovery Pill? Xuanhuan was in disbelief. Miss Tang gave it to me, of course. After Jiang Qin said that, he swallowed the pill on the spot. Xuanhuan's eyes widened in shock. This thing is quite delicious. Feels so good after eating it. I feel so refreshed. It's so delicious. When you get the Great Recovery Pill, you can try it too. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Jiang Qin smacked his lips in satisfaction. Xuanhuan's mouth twitched. He couldn't say a word. This is a fucking 6 million 10 rune Great Recovery Pill. You ate it like it's candy? And you feel so refreshed? Xuanhuan almost fainted from anger because of Jiang Qin. This bastard is too infuriating. Even if he was an idiot, he knew that this guy was playing with him. Moreover, he didn't want the Great Recovery Pill at all. He raised the price of the pill to make him pay. This bastard is too despicable. What is his relationship with Tang Wan? She actually gave him a Great Recovery Pill? This kind of favor isn't easy to return. Xuanhuan was furious. However, he couldn't care less at this moment. If Jiang Qin were to make a move next time, he would definitely cause trouble. I'll give him a taste of his own medicine. I definitely can't let this matter go. Moreover, Qin Lu's matter isn't over yet. The enmity between the two of them can be considered to have been completely formed. Brother Jiang Qin, you're too awesome. Qin Lu gave a thumbs up and looked at Jiang Qin. Xuanhuan was stunned when he saw that Jiang Qin ate the Great Recovery Pill on the spot. Did I just buy loneliness? The Great Recovery Pill is actually so worthless in Jiang Qin's hands. However, he actually treated it as a divine pill. Isn't this obvious? He's just trash. Who asked him to provoke me? Then I'll play with him. Jiang Qin smiled. At this time, Tang Wan, who was secretly observing this scene, was also shocked by Jiang Qin. This guy really can't be underestimated. He's trapped Xuanhuan alive. Interesting, really interesting. Following that, many treasures were auctioned off, but the highest price was the Great Cyclic Pellet. The second highest was a divine weapon, which was sold for 730,000 grade 9 origin stones. It wasn't a low price either. This is not something that just anyone would dare to do. Zhou Gongzi is a tyrant of our great Tang. Opposing him is no different from seeking death. AI, there's always someone who likes to run into the muzzle of a gun. This kid is going to go against xuanhuan like this. Isn't he afraid that young Master Zhou will kill him? I've never heard of someone like him before. Quite a few people felt admiration for Jiang Qin. After all, xuanhuan was not someone that just anyone would dare to directly confront. This guy was the little tyrant of the Great Tang. Fighting with him would definitely not end well. However, the bidding war between Jiang Qin and xuanhuan was also quite lively. Many people were acting as if this matter had nothing to do with them, waiting to watch a good show. 400,000. What do you think? Add a bit more? Xuanhuan's eyebrows danced as he looked at Jiang Qin, his eyes filled with a feminine light. 500,000, I must obtain it. I advise you not to fight with me. xuanhuan, you're not my match. Jiang Qin shook his head. The anger in xuanhuan's heart surged. I'm not your match? Little brat, I'll kill you. 800,000 grade 9 origin stones. I'll take it. Xuanhuan was not inferior to Jiang Qin in the slightest. He could not lose face. You're just putting up a futile struggle. 1 million. Jiang Qin smiled. 1,500,000. Xuanhuan said. How domineering. Young Master Zhou is too domineering. Who do you think young Master Zhou is? You just won the first prize. 2,600,000 grade 9 origin stones for great cyclic pills. Face is more important than anything else. That's right, I support young Master Zhou, haha. AI, he's clearly nothing, so why does he have to fight with young Master Zhou? It seems like the two of them are at loggerheads and neither wants to take half a step back. There's going to be a good show to watch. It seems like this guy can't hold on much longer. The crowd was also very curious about Jiang Qin. Just who was this person that he dared to make life difficult for young Master Zhou time and time again? This was quite rare in the Great Tang. Why aren't you shouting anymore? Xuanhuan said confidently. 1,600,000. Jiang Qin clenched his teeth and said. Big brother Jiang Qin, stop shouting. Qin Lu's face was filled with worry. 2 million. How about it, are you still shouting? Don't let me see you being so useless. A man must be tough. Xuanhuan saw that Jiang Qin's face was turning green. At this moment he had no intention of continuing shouting. He was here to discuss Jiang Qin. Who asked him to disgust him? I'm not shouting anymore. I have no use for this thing. Since you like it so much, it's yours. Jiang Qin shrugged his shoulders and sighed. He said in an unconcerned manner. In an instant, Xuanhuan was stunned. Chapter 5143. Xuanhuan's expression was extremely cold. He had become the target of ridicule because this was not the first time he had been fooled by Jiang Qin. If it happened again and again, there would be some problems with his brain. This was also the question that everyone was most confused about. Was Xuanhuan an idiot? However, many of them just wanted to watch a good show. Xuanhuan was used to being arrogant and domineering, so no one dared to provoke him. Now that he was being tricked by Jiang Qin, he felt extremely wronged in his heart. That was nearly 5 million 9th grade source stones. Who knew how many people would go crazy for it? The great recover pill was nothing. At least he had gained some face. Although the price was much higher, it was still something that he loved. However, this divine weapon was useless. It was used by Jiang Qin to deal with him. This was too shameful. From the beginning he had already made preparations. In order to cheat him, he had also spent a lot of money. Xuanhuan finally saw clearly that Jiang Qin had been scheming against him from the beginning. Although he had been planning how to deal with him, it was obvious that he was half a beat slower. Jiang Qin had taken the initiative and even suppressed him to the point that he had lost face. One should know that he was the most powerful young master of the 4 great clans in the Great Tang. He did not expect that he would be so vulnerable in front of Jiang Qin. Although it was just a battle of money, it was enough to see that this guy was not ordinary. Xuanhuan had now regarded Jiang Qin as his #1 enemy. He had underestimated Jiang Qin. He had been infatuated with Qin Lu, but he did not expect to be slapped in the face by Jiang Qin. Any man would not be able to accept this, and this made him very angry. Everyone present looked at Xuanhuan as if they were looking at something strange. He naturally understood that he had spent 2 million on an item that was worth 200,000. Where else could he find such a spendthrift? Even Tang Wan, who was at the side, could not stop smiling. This Jiang Qin was really too interesting. He had completely played Xuanhuan in the palm of his hand. At this moment, Xuanhuan wanted to quickly kill Jiang Qin to relieve the hatred in his heart. However, this was the HSBC auction house and he couldn't do anything to him. I don't believe you can stay in the HSBC auction house for the rest of your life. Be a coward if you can. Xuanhuan's eyes were cold as he clenched his fists tightly. Big brother Jiang Qin, I think you have thoroughly offended Xuanhuan this time. We have to be careful in the future. Qin Lu said in a low voice. It was all because of her big brother Jiang Qin that Xuanhuan was infected by this fly. How annoying. However, Xuanhuan's strength was not to be underestimated. He was one of the 4 great clans of Great Tang. Who could afford to offend him? Moreover, the Qin clan's influence was not here. They could only be extra careful. Don't worry, I'm not as weak as you think, and this guy has been eyeing me for a long time. If I don't retaliate, he will think that I'm a pushover. This time, let's see if he still dares to challenge me. Jiang Qin said with a smile. He did this to prepare for a rainy day. He was afraid that if he saw something he liked, Xuanhuan would fight with him for it. Then he would suffer a great loss. Therefore he had to make the first move. Only by striking first would he be able to force others into a corner. This was also to guard against Xuanhuan. That fellow was arrogant and unruly and could do anything. Congratulations, young Master Zhou. You have won our treasure for 2 million. Yun Duo's voice was gentle and pleasant, but in Xuanhuan's ears, it was filled with anger. Jiang Qin, I will not let you go even if I have to grind your bones into ashes. I will make you 2 cowards kneel in front of me and tremble. Xuanhuan's eyes were filled with anger, but there was nothing he could do. After all, the HSBC auction house was still going on. Jiang Qin did not care about him at all. He could only ignore this mad dog. After a few more items, there was finally one that Jiang Qin was interested in. It was the sky green monkey. This was a very rare spiritual monkey. Although it looked like a monkey, its eyes were very cunning and sharp. When Jiang Qin saw the sky green monkey, he was shocked. This sky green monkey actually had a small amount of star energy flowing in its body. Yes, it was star energy. Although it was not much, Jiang Qin was sure that this sky green monkey was not simple. This sky green monkey is said to be from the Green On tribe. Its footprints were found on a small star at the edge of the Sky Tyrant star domain. It is said that the sky green monkey is the most intelligent demonic beast. It would be the best choice to be trained as a spiritual pet or a mount. Cloud said with a smile on her face. Are you mesmerized by the host? Qin Lu said with a smile. Jiang Qin smiled bitterly and rolled his eyes at Qin Lu. Why are you thinking about love? Do I love every one of them that I see? Isn't Tang one much prettier than her? I didn't even blink. I was just looking at that monkey. Jiang Qin's eyes were still fixed on the monkey. Others might not be able to discover anything, but he could tell that this monkey was extraordinary. He had to find out what was going on with the star energy in this monkey. Perhaps he might even be able to find the core of the star. However, Jiang Qin did not have high hopes. It was not easy to find the core of a star. Moreover, the core of a star was a supreme treasure. It was definitely something that could only be found by chance. Although Jiang Qin yearned for it, he was not confident enough to set his eyes on the core of a star no matter where he went. If he did, his cultivation path would probably be stagnant. If he wanted to obtain the core of a star, it would depend entirely on luck. However, if this sky green monkey had some secret about the star energy, it would be hard to say. Sky green monkey? This thing doesn't seem to be common. Yeah, but this thing is very smart. I heard that some owners who raise sky green monkeys were killed by it. This guy is too strange. I can't afford to offend it. This kind of thing should be left to those rich people. The sky green monkey is not easy to deal with. If you don't have the ability, don't play with it. Although it is strong and has extraordinary battle strength, it is also arrogant and unruly. Not many people can control this guy. Many people shook their heads inwardly. It was obvious that not many people were interested in the sky green monkey. Lot 194, Sky Green Monkey, starting price, 100,000 9th grade source stones. As soon as Yun Duo's voice fell, someone made a bid. Although not many people bid, there were still people who wanted it. Although there were not many people who bid, there were still dozens of people who kept increasing the price. In less than a quarter of an hour, the price had reached 225,000. At this time, Jiang Qin's bid should be about right. 230,000. Jiang Qin said. This price was basically the highest price he could offer. Especially when Jiang Qin bid this time, it made everyone on the scene tremble with fear. Young Master Zhou had fallen into his trap twice, and no one dared to compete with him when he called a price. That's right. Chapter 5144. Jiang Qin looked at Xuanhuan with a smile. Increase the price? Increase the price, my ass. Do you think I'm that shameless? I've already been cheated by you twice. Do you still want to cheat me? There was once and twice, but there would never be a third or fourth time. Trying to cheat me? That's impossible. Xuanhuan snorted coldly. This time he had learned his lesson. He didn't want to compete with Jiang Qin anymore. If he continued, he would only suffer a crushing defeat. Moreover, he didn't have many origin stones left. It was impossible for him to continue bidding. Without a strong competitor like Xuanhuan, Jiang Qin's bid was no longer suspenseful. Although two people continued to raise the price, Jiang Qin once again set the price at 260,000 grade 9 origin stones. No one else raised the price. 260,000 grade 9 origin stones going once. 260,000 grade 9 origin stones going twice. 260,000 grade 9 origin stones going thrice. Sold. Congratulations, young Master Jiang, 260,000 grade 9 origin stones. I have obtained a celestial green monkey. Yun Duo smiled as she looked at Jiang Qin. Many people sighed. Jiang Qin had already cheated Xuanhuan twice. No one wanted to be the second Xuanhuan. The price of the azure monkey was at least 300,000 grade 9 origin stones, but no one wanted to be his stepping stone. If this guy bid randomly again, no one would be able to afford it. Xuanhuan was a bit depressed. Why didn't he bid against him? If this guy bid, he definitely wouldn't bid anymore. However, there was no medicine for regret in this world. He wanted to cheat Jiang Qin, but he didn't have the guts to do so. It seems like no one dares to challenge you. Qin Lu covered her mouth and giggled. Her beautiful eyes were sparkling. This time Jiang Qin was truly stunned by her beauty. What are you looking at? What's there to look at? Qin Lu rolled her eyes at Jiang Qin, her face red. Since you don't want me to look, I'll go look at Miss Tangwan. Jiang Qin shrugged. You dare. Qin Lu pursed her lips. The auction lasted for quite a long time. 300 items were also a very large project. But in the end, Jiang Qin did not find any more treasures that he was interested in. Next is the last auction item, which is also the highlight of this year's auction, the Water Chestnut Treasure Codex. After Cloud finished speaking, her face was filled with excitement. At the same time, there were quite a few people in the auction hall whose faces were filled with astonishment, causing an uproar to rise one after another. What? Water Chestnut Flower Treasure Book? How is this possible? You know about the Water Chestnut Flower Treasure Book? What is this thing? Why are so many people so shocked? You don't even know about the Water Triangular Flower Treasure Book? It is a mysterious treasure left behind by the celestial Lord Ling Hua. It is said that when the celestial Lord Ling Hua left the Sky Tyrant Star Field, she left it behind. Countless people are fighting for it and searching for it. To this day, no one has been able to unravel the secrets of the treasure. Water Chestnut Immortal Lord? You are so ignorant. She is second only to the Eternal Emperor realm. It is said that more than 2 million years ago, when the Water Chestnut Deity Lord left the Sky Tyrant Starfield for a higher level starfield, he left this treasure for his descendants. However, to this day it is just a legend. No one knows if the Water Chestnut Treasure Book really exists or what it looks like. Never would I have thought that the treasure book would be in the hands of the HSBC auction house. The celestial Lord Ling Hua was a person who made the entire Sky Tyrant Starfield go crazy. She was one of the most terrifying beings below the Eternal Emperor realm. When she left the Sky Tyrant Starfield, she had already reached a terrifying cultivation realm. Moreover, she was someone who made the entire Sky Tyrant Starfield tremble. How could she be simple? Jiang Qin looked at Qin Lu, who was beside him. Her face was flushed, and it was obvious that she was also very shocked and curious about the treasure book. Brother Jiang Qin, don't you know? The celestial Lord Ling Hua is the legend of the entire Sky Tyrant Starfield. More than 2 million years ago, in that glorious era, the celestial Lord Ling Hua shocked the entire Sky Tyrant Starfield with her own strength. She dared to chase after the Eternal Emperor realm as a level 1 woman. One can imagine how powerful she was. Before she left the treasure book behind. Many people have been searching for it for thousands of years. Who would have thought that the treasure book would appear here and be auctioned off? Just too shocking. Qin Lu spoke without thinking, her eyes staring at the Water Chestnut Flower Treasure Book. Is this 3-tripod flower treasure codex really that powerful? Jiang Qin asked. Qin Lu shook her head. You are not from Tianqin Star and you are not from the Sky Tyrant Star Field. You do not understand how terrifying the treasure book is. You do not know what kind of existence the celestial Lord Ling Hua is. She is like an inextinguishable god to us. Moreover, the things recorded in the Water Chestnut Treasure Book are things that we can benefit from for our entire lives. Qin Lu became more and more excited. Looks like this is a treasure. Jiang Qin said with a smile. Everyone had kept the Water Chestnut Flower Treasure Codex a secret. Everyone was shocked and shocked. It was imaginable how valuable this treasure was. What kind of treasure would be left behind by an expert who was second only to the Eternal Emperor realm? Jiangchen was also very curious. Although he didn't know what was inside the book, it seemed like he would have to take part in it. This time, it seemed like there would be a lot of people who wanted to get their hands on the book. Seeing the enthusiasm of the crowd, Tang Wan was secretly gratified. This time the HSBC auction house had really taken out their trump card, and this treasure was completely extraordinary. Even Tang Wan was extremely curious. However, there were some things that didn't belong to her. Even if she had the water chestnut treasure book, she couldn't open such a magical treasure. Therefore, Tang Wan had no choice but to sell it. She needed a large amount of dawn stones to accumulate. Therefore, there was nothing she could do about it. She had no choice but to sell it. She needed a large amount of dawn stones. If she did not sell it, the treasure book would be worthless to her. However, if she sold it, she would be able to exchange it for countless dawn stones. Tang Wan was clear about such a transaction. Hurry up, we can't wait. Haha, hurry up and auction it. That's right. We have already obtained our trump card. What is there to hesitate about? I have been waiting for it for a long time. This time the HSBC auction house has really put in a lot of effort. I have to give it to them. Isn't that so? This time we have to take a good look at exactly how terrifying this water chestnut flower treasure codex is. Chapter 51-45. Everyone couldn't wait any longer. The whole place was filled with enthusiasm. Roars and roars resounded through the clouds. This was the result that Tang Wan wanted. This would also make countless people excited. This way, the water chestnut flower treasure book would definitely be auctioned off at an unprecedented price. Sai, what's the point of being excited? Do you think ordinary people like us can bid for the water chestnut flower treasure book? That's true. We're probably just here to watch the show. I think the starting price of the water chestnut flower treasure book won't be lower than 2 million. 2 million? I think it'll be at least 3 or 4 million grade 9 origin stones. This is beyond our knowledge. Normal experts aren't even auctioned off by the HSBC auction house. We don't understand the happiness of the rich. What's the point of saying all this? We don't have the ability or money. We can only work hard and forge ahead. In the end, we can only rely on ourselves. If you can't afford an item with a clear price, who can you blame? Although many people present knew that this auction wasn't simple, almost no one could actually participate in the auction. Everyone could imagine that the water chestnut flower treasure book would definitely fetch a terrifying price. Big brother Jiangchen, if you have enough origin stones, you must bid for the water chestnut flower treasure book. It's definitely a rare treasure. You can't buy it even if you have money. Even I am quite surprised by the HSBC auction house's actions. It's unbelievable that they're willing to auction the water chestnut flower treasure book. Moreover, there are definitely a lot of people who are eyeing the water chestnut treasure codex. Qin Lu grabbed Jiang Chen's hand tightly. She knew that she definitely didn't have enough origin stones to bid for it, but big brother Jiang Chen might have a chance. I'll do my best, Jiang Chen said. With so many people coveting the water chestnut flower treasure book and Qin Lu trying to dissuade him, it seemed like he had to participate in the final auction. Everyone please be quiet. I will now announce the auction of the last item, the water chestnut flower treasure book. The starting price is 5 million grade 9 origin stones. Cloud's words caused the crowd to quiet down. However, her words once again caused the crowd to reach a climax. 5 million grade 9 origin stones. This was just the starting price? Time to slip away. At this price, 99% of the people present had already flinched. 5 million grade 9 source stones, even among star level 9 experts, not many could take out so much money. Most of the people were refunded, and only a small number of people could participate in the auction. 5 million? Damn it, it seems that my estimation was wrong. I thought that starting at 2 million was already amazing. You should know what kind of existence the water chestnut immortal lord was. How could her legacy be bad? That's true, but the price is too ridiculous. We don't even dare to think about it. Actually, you're wrong. This price is already very, very low. It's more than worth it. I just don't know how much it will fetch in the end. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the water chestnut flower grimoire. The auction was finally about to begin. Each increment must be no less than 500,000 grade 9 origin stones. Let's begin. Everyone please show your sincerity and show your price. As long as your price is high enough, You can easily take the water chestnut flower grimoire home. After Yudwa finished speaking, the crowd became noisy. However, many people were already prepared. There were definitely many rich people present. This price should scare off many people. Jiang Qin said with a smile. Sigh, it's indeed a price that I don't even dare to look at. Qin Lu's mouth twitched. There was no doubt that she had already been kicked out of the auction. She didn't even have the right to bid. 5 million. 6 million. 5 million. 7 million. 8 million grade 9 origin stones. The price of the auction rose rapidly. Jiang Qin was also very excited. In the blink of an eye, the price had reached 12 million grade 9 origin stones. It seemed like the number of origin stones in his pocket was not enough. Tens of millions of grade 9 origin stones were only enough to buy him some loneliness. Jiang Qin couldn't help but shake his head. Weren't these fellows a little too ruthless? As expected of the wealthy people of the Great Tang. Quite a few people were still bidding for tens of millions of origin stones, and the price had never stopped. Many of them were staring fixedly at the water chestnut flower treasure book, looking as if they were determined to get their hands on it. 13 million grade 9 origin stones. A middle-aged man in a blue robe calmly said. His third uncle. Xuanhuan's eyes lit up. He hadn't expected his third uncle to also come. Moreover, it seemed like his third uncle was also very interested in the water chestnut flower grimoire. Zhou Lifan, it seems like you also want the water chestnut flower grimoire? Why don't you give it to me? I'll definitely give you a big gift when we get back, haha. The other man also laughed and said, then immediately called out a price. 14 million grade 9 origin stones. Wuxialover, this isn't your territory. You can't steal what I want. Why don't you take a step back and I'll give you a big gift when we get back? Zhou Lifan sneered. As the second in command of the Zhou clan, he was also aiming for the water chestnut flower grimoire. It was obvious that not even Zhou Lifan had the funds of tens of millions of origin stones. He had come here on behalf of his older brother Xuanhuan's father. Even for the Zhou clan, 10 million origin stones was not a small sum. It seems like you want to fight with me to the end. Zhou Lifan, think carefully. Do you have the confidence? Wu Xiaohua's expression chilled as he snorted. To be able to sit here and bid, what do you think? Zhou Lifan calmly said. 15 million grade 9 origin stones. Let me join in as well. I wonder if the two of you would be willing? A beautiful woman with an enchanting figure covered her mouth and giggled as she casually called out 15 million grade 9 origin stones. Waves of excitement rose among the people present, causing everyone's hearts to tremble in fear. The price kept increasing and now it had already tripled. Zheng Meili, don't be so ungrateful. Isn't your Zheng clan expanding right now? Are you sure you can afford so many origin stones? Wu Xiaohuan narrowed his eyes. This amount of money is nothing to our Zheng clan. Why don't we compete and see whose leg hair is thicker? Zheng Meili's brows danced with delight. The corners of her lips curled up slightly, and her expression was enchanting. Neither Wu Xiaohuan nor Zhou Lifan dared to underestimate her. What a good water chestnut flower grimoire. 3 of the 4 great clans have come. The Zhou clan, the Wu clan, and the Zheng clan are all participating. It seems like today's auction won't be fun. Chapter 5146. Then let's see how they perform. Jiang Qin shrugged. I don't have that many origin stones on hand right now. It seems that we have no fate with the water chestnut flower treasure book. Jiang Qin's eyes flickered, but he was in no hurry to participate. It seemed that the Great Tang's 4 great clans were also participating, and their struggle was bound to be very intense. A mountain cannot hold 2 tigers, and these people were all at loggerheads. There was no need to create unnecessary misunderstandings. Jiang Qin only needed to sit back and watch the tigers fight. Looking at Qin Lu's disappointed expression, Jiang Qin had a playful smile on his face. Until the very last moment, no one knew who would be the winner. That's too exciting. Although I'm not the one bidding, I'm also excited. The 4 great clans are truly rich. That's right. 10 million grade 9 origin stones as if they're free. The boldness of the 4 great clans is indeed not something an ordinary person can compare to. If this continues, I don't think it'll be difficult to break through the 20 million barrier. Then we can only wait and see. This sort of thing can only be encountered by chance, and it's very likely to be an unimaginable inheritance. For the great clans it's especially important. The water chestnut flower immortal lord is a true expert. Many people yearned for it, but they could only stay away from the water chestnut flower treasure book. It was not something that the poor could imagine. 16 million. Then let's see who will have the last laugh. Zhou Lifan's expression was calm. 16 million grade 9 origin stones was already a very high price, but it was clear that the Wu and Zheng clans did not intend to let it go. The price would only continue to rise. 17 million. Zheng Meili smiled. She gently played with her multicolored fingernails. She had an enchanting expression on her face, causing countless people to feel carefree and relaxed. Such a woman was like a blue enchantress, terrifying people's souls. Many people were bewitched by Zheng Meili. As expected of the Zheng clan's heroine, but this is not your battlefield. 18 million grade 9 origin stones. Wu Xiaohua was also getting more and more excited. The fight between the three of them was very exciting. The number of people's adrenaline kept rising. The happiest person was Tang Wan. A short while later, the price doubled once again, reaching 26 million grade 9 origin stones. At this time, Zhou Lifan and the other two's faces were no longer calm. If this continued, the result would be unimaginable. 27 million. The two of you, if you continue to shout like this, there's no meaning in it anymore. Leave this thing to my Zhou clan, we will not neglect you in the future. I Zhou Lifan will remember this kindness in my heart. Zhou Lifan's voice was solemn as he said solemnly. No, no, no. I don't think the Zhou family's sincerity is enough. Let me do it myself. Wu Xiaohua said with blazing eyes. 28 million. Wu Xiaohua gritted his teeth. This was also his last bid. If the price could not be stabilized, he would not have the strength to continue bidding. Nearly 30 million grade 9 origin stones was enough to nurture many people. This was the highest authority that the clan head could give him. Exceeding 30 million grade 9 origin stones would cause his clan to suffer huge losses or even stop operating. Ordinary star rank experts would be considered wealthy if they had a few 100,000 grade 9 origin stones. Those with a few 100,000 grade 9 origin stones would be considered wealthy. Those with over 1 million grade 9 origin stones were extremely rare, and those with over 10 million grade 9 origin stones were 1 in 10,000. It was not that the four clans could not take out 30 million grade 9 origin stones, but even if they did, it would cause their clans to fall into a passive position. Perhaps they could take out 50 million grade 9 origin stones with the entire clan's strength, but it would cause the clan to fall apart. What was the use of that? 30 million grade 9 origin stones was already the limit for every family clan. 29 million. Zhou Lifan made his last bid. This was also his limit. The three of them looked at each other in rage. But the auction house was even crueler than the casino. Without money, one could only stare at one's inadequacy. No matter how good the item was, it was impossible for one to obtain it. As three of the Great Tang's four great clans, their strength was almost equal. 30 million was their limit. It was almost impossible for anyone to take another step forward. The atmosphere in the auction house was getting more and more intense. So many grade 9 origin stones was simply outrageous. In the VIP section, Gong Lianqing respectfully stood at Tang Wan's side, his face also filled with shock. I really didn't expect young lady to sell this water caltrip treasure tome for such an astronomical price. The last time it was sold for tens of millions, it was for a grade 10 pill. But at that time, Master was personally presiding over the auction. How many years has it been? Gong Lianqing said with a sigh. Yes, how many years has it been? 26 million grade 9 origin stones, but that pill was only a 4-line pill. If it was a 10-line pill, I don't think Father would have sold it. Tang Wan shook her head with a smile. But this water caltrip treasure tome seemed to have broken through its previous limit, surpassing 30 million grade 9 origin stones. 30 million. As soon as he finished his words, someone bid a high price of 30 million. However, this person was neither from the four major families nor Jiang Chen. He was a black-clothed man. No one could see through his cultivation base at all. Chapter 5147. Jiang Chen's ability to take out 10 10-patterned great rejuvenation pills at once was mysterious to Tang Wan. However, she didn't know Jiang Chen's identity. One thing was for sure though. He definitely didn't lack money. How could such a person not be tempted by the water caltrip treasure book? It turned out that Jiang Chen had been waiting all along. A true expert only needed to make the final call. Evidently, Jiang Chen had been waiting for this final opportunity. After confirming that no one else was bidding, the black-robed man was his only opponent. Even Chen Lu was shocked when Jiang Chen called out his bid. Big brother Jiang Chen, you're actually so rich? You're still complaining about being poor to me. You're really too evil. Chen Lu stared at Jiang Chen in shock. Even if I don't have money, I still have to bid a little louder. I can't make a fool of myself. Jiang Chen chuckled. He didn't have that much money, but the great rejuvenation pills in his possession were a huge fortune. That was why he was so fearless. 33 million. The black-robed man glanced at Jiang Chen and called out again. After all, he had also come for this treasure, so he couldn't possibly remain silent. Even if someone called out too high, the two of them would definitely be at loggerheads. 35 million. Jiang Chen was brimming with confidence. Although he didn't know what secrets the water caltrip treasure book held, as the water caltrip immortal lord, an existence second only to the eternal emperor lord, her inheritance couldn't be a pile of trash, right? Seeing Chen Lu's excited expression, he felt that it would be worth it even if it was just for Chen Lu's smile. Perhaps this was what it meant to throw away 1,000 taels of gold for the sake of a beauty. However, Jiang Chen didn't care about any of this. Friend, how about giving the water caltrip treasure book to me? I'll give you 2 million grade 9 source stones as compensation. The black-robed man glanced at Jiang Chen and spoke indifferently. However, many people's jaws dropped. Was there such a thing? However, obtaining 2 million grade 9 origin stones for no reason at all was definitely a profitable transaction. If I had known earlier, I would have gone to bid as well. Haha, isn't that like earning 2 million for free? Who do you think you are? You're courting death if you bid recklessly. Do you think the HSBC auction house will let you leave so calmly? Exactly. In your dreams. Do you think that 2 million grade 9 origin stones are that easy to earn? This Jiang Chen does have some ability. It seems that his previous challenge to xuanhuan was not groundless. Many people were looking forward to it. The final battle between Jiang Chen and the black-clothed man had already made everyone clench their fists and watch nervously. Does this guy really have so many dawn stones? Others might have believed him, but xuanhuan's heart was still beating like a drum. He felt that this Jiang Chen was just using his connections to intimidate others. How could he possibly have so many origin stones? This brat most likely didn't have any money and was just randomly bidding. xuanhuan hated Jiang Chen to the bone. Naturally, he didn't want Jiang Chen to obtain the water chestnut treasure book. If that was the case, he would probably be even more difficult to deal with. xuanhuan had already made preparations to strangle Jiang Chen in the cradle. Once he left the HSBC auction house, he would definitely not let him off. Don't you think 2 million grade 9 origin stones is too little to bribe me? Jiang Chen said with a smile. Alright then, 36 million. The black-clothed man said coldly. This guy refused a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. At this moment, Tangwan was also quite curious. She whispered to Gong Lianqing, who was beside her. Go and find out who this black-clothed man is. Yes, young Mississippi. Gong Lianqing hurriedly went to investigate the black-clothed man's identity. However, the battle in the auction house was still ongoing. Moreover, it was a display of sharpness that made people's hearts tremble. 38 million. Jiang Chen was still calm and unruffled, but the black-clothed man's eyes were getting colder and colder. Although Jiang Chen couldn't see his face clearly, he could see that his eyes were extremely angry and ugly because he had blocked his way. 40 million grade 9 origin stones. The black-clothed man called out again. Each time it was 1 million. This time he directly raised the price by 2 million. He wanted to show his strength to Jiang Chen and hoped that he would back off. 40 million. Sigh, this water chestnut treasure book is too exciting. 40 million, that's 40 million grade 9 origin stones. I can't imagine. Who is this black-clothed man? Even the 4 great clans have to concede defeat. He is still struggling with Jiang Chen. Moreover, this Jiang Chen is a latecomer. He isn't a member of the 4 great clans. We don't understand the world of the rich, but the HSBC auction house will not let them do as they please. There must be a guarantee for such a huge sum of money. That's right. Those who have dared to cause trouble at the HSBC auction house have all died a horrible death. The crowd couldn't contain their excitement. 40 million had once again crossed an unimaginable threshold. Who is this guy? Do you know him? Zhou Lifan transmitted his voice to his eldest nephew, xuanhuan. I don't know. But I'm sure he won't be able to escape from me. Don't worry, third uncle. Once he leaves the HSBC auction house, I'll make him pay for it. xuanhuan sneered and said with an icy look in his eyes. It seems like you are determined to get it. However, I like it too. Let's just take what we need. 42 million. Jiang Chen's face was calm. His calmness was the most attractive thing. He's too handsome. If I can marry such a handsome man, I'll be satisfied for the rest of my life. That's right. This is a real man. I love him. I must find him and see who he is. Take a look at how outstanding the woman beside him is before you say anything. I've heard that she's the princess of one of the 3 great powers in the western border. Don't be so narcissistic. You won't like mediocre women like you. Jiang Chen's sharpness made all the women present scream. Who wouldn't like a man who threw his money around? Who wouldn't want to raise their status if they followed such a man and cultivated for the rest of their lives? I'm giving you face but you don't want it. I'm taking it. 43 million. The veins on the man's arms bulged. He clenched his fists tightly. He was about to reach his limit. If this continued, the book would really be taken away by someone else. Let's see who will have the last laugh. Whoever is richer will get the water chestnut flower treasure codex. Jiang Chen was as calm as ever. It was as if someone else was paying for these origin stones. He wasn't worried at all. 45 million. Jiang Chen's bid reached new highs again and again. The hearts of the people present were beating violently along with him. 46 million. The man in black shouted again. However, this time he felt as if his body had been hollowed out. He didn't expect the competition to be so fierce. The price had reached more than 40 million. It was too exciting. 50 million. Jiang Chen said calmly. At this moment, the whole place was dead silent. 50 million. That was 50 million 9th grade origin stones. Moreover, it was real money. Who wouldn't be tempted? Who wouldn't be shocked? Tang Wan's eyes were burning with passion. What a good Jiang Chen. He really opened her eyes. This guy was too exciting. Even as the person in charge of the HSBC auction house, Tang Wan was full of admiration when she looked at Jiang Chen. 50 million 9th grade origin stones. What kind of concept was that? Even for the current HSBC auction house, it was a large part of their liquid funds. Moreover, it couldn't be all of their cash flow. However, the price was real. Tang Wan didn't expect Jiang Chen to be so rich. Even if his family had a mine, he shouldn't be so extravagant, right? Chapter 51-48. This is crazy, this is crazy. This price is too ridiculous. Is this the life of the rich? Damn, this is too damn satisfying. I never even dared to think about it in my entire life. 50 million. My God, that's 50 million grade 9 origin stones. I heard you. I'm not deaf. Holy shit. How many origin stones is that? It's probably enough to crush me to death. Countless people were cheering crazily. 50 million. Not only the audience, even Tang Wan was excited. She had never auctioned anything at such a high price before. Jiang Chen had brought her auction to a new high. This man was really her lucky star. She had to admit that Jiang Chen was her lucky star. In the Great Tang, there were no more than 4 people, no more than 4 clans, that could take out 50 million grade 9 origin stones. Even those 4 great clans would only be able to gather around this amount of wealth. Jiang Chen's appearance had caused everyone to look at him in a new light. This sort of legend was someone they should admire even more. If you had enough origin stones, you would be able to stand at the peak. If you had enough strength, you would be able to see even further. The current Jiang Chen was the highest mountain in their hearts, unreachable and worthy of worship. Chen Lu's eyes were already filled with little stars. Big brother Jiang Chen had always been her role model, and this time he had shocked countless people. He had swept through the Great Tang without equal. Who wouldn't like this sort of man? Countless women had looks of worship on their faces, wanting nothing more than to throw themselves into his arms. How could such a man be weak? No wonder he could contend against the Zhou clan, one of the 4 great clans. In his eyes, Xuanhuan wasn't even worth a fart. Now it seemed that he didn't even care about 50 million origin stones. This sort of boldness was not something that just anyone could possess. The black-clothed man's face was gloomy as he silently stared at Jiang Chen. After a long while, he slowly retreated and left the auction house. However, the coldness in his eyes caused Jiang Chen to frown. This fellow clearly wasn't going to let this matter rest. Damn. He actually managed to pull it off. Xuanhuan was even more enraged, his eyes were dark. Jiang Chen had been so ruthless with him that he had cheated him again and again. In the end, Xuanhuan didn't even dare to bid, causing him to lose all face. In the past he could do whatever he wanted in Great Tang. But this time he was actually disgusted by this guy. So many people cheered for him, so many people went crazy for him. That was Xuanhuan's dream. However, it was a pity that he didn't have the courage to do so. Even if his father was here, he wouldn't spend 50 million grade 9 origin stones to buy the water chestnut treasure book. If he did, his family would probably run out of resources. Xuanhuan had now regarded Jiang Qin as a thorn in his side, and he wished he could pull out his tendons and peel off his skin. But now he had become the clown of the auction, allowing this guy to stand on a lonely peak and be respected by others. We'll settle this score slowly. You want to steal my woman? Dream on. If I can get you to take even half a step out of the great Tang, Xuanhuan will be your grandson. Xuanhuan coldly snorted and left with a flick of his sleeve. The cheers and howls of the crowd finally receded. Jiang Qin's figure was like that of an immortal god from the 9 heavens. This was the power of money. Even in front of countless cultivators, money could still sway anyone. Money could make even the devil turn millstones. This had always been the case. I declare that this year's annual auction will end here. Thank you everyone for coming. Cloud said with a smile as she bowed to the audience. Jiang Qin naturally did not leave. At this time, Tang Wan had personally come to the box to welcome Jiang Qin. This was a true diamond member. Tang Wan's appearance made Qin Lu jealous. This woman was now looking at big brother Jiang Qin with a covetous gaze. Mr. Jiang Qin, congratulations. 50 million for the water chestnut treasure book. I truly didn't expect you to be so rich. 50 million grade 9 origin stones. I am indebted to Mr. Jiang Qin's favor. Tang Wan covered her mouth and smiled, her eyes sparkling as she gave a slight nod. I don't have that many origin stones, Jiang Qin said bluntly. Suddenly the corner of Tang Wan's mouth moved slightly. You don't have that many origin stones? Isn't he here to cause trouble? Although Tang Wan was somewhat puzzled, she knew that with Jiang Qin's status, he would definitely not come here to cause trouble. Then Mr. Jiang Qin, what do you mean? Tang Wan pondered. Can I use my elixir to exchange for it? I won't let you suffer a loss. Jiang Qin said with a smile. 50 million origin stones for elixir? How many elixir would that cost? Tang Wan was a little hesitant. She found it hard to believe. Unless he could take out a few dozen 10-rune Great Huan pills. That seemed to be acceptable to Tang Wan. However, how could there be so many 10-rune Great Huan pills? Like jelly beans? It was absolutely impossible. However, Tang Wan felt that Jiang Qin was not an irresponsible person. Since he had made a bid, he was definitely not joking. He must definitely be responsible for his words. If the auction kept meeting such people all day long, then there was no need for it to be held. Mr. Jiang Qin, please speak your mind. Tang Wan said. 50 10-rune Great Huan pills. After saying that, Jiang Qin flipped his hand and took out 5 jade bottles. Each jade bottle contained 10 10-rune Great Huan pills. At that moment, Tang Wan was really stunned. She stood rooted to the ground and could not speak for a long time. 50. Damn. 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 Even though Tang Wan was a very gentle woman, she could not help but feel excited and almost blurted out. What kind of expert was this? He could refine 10-rune Great Huan pills like jelly beans? Were they almost like cabbages now? However, Tang Wan was very clear that as long as there was a limited supply, these 50 Great Huan pills could be auctioned off in 50 years. It would not take too long. Moreover, the value of each Great Huan pill would increase by at least 50%. Not to mention how much she could sell them for, these Great Huan pills were definitely worth 50 million 9th grade origin stones. Tang Wan was extremely shocked. What kind of person had she encountered? No, she must tie him down firmly. This time, Tang Wan knew that she had to use all her strength to help Jiang Qin find his son. If she wanted to tie him down or make him establish a good relationship with her, his son was the only clue. Mr. Jiang Qin is too straightforward. Ah, I am convinced. I will accept these 50 Great Huan pills. The water chestnut treasure book is yours. Tang Wan's eyes shone brightly. Who would not like a man like this? Chapter 5149. Tang Wan handed the book to Jiang Qin. Jiang Qin took a look but didn't find anything strange about it. However, since it dared to sell it at such a high price and had so many people fighting over it, it was definitely not an ordinary item. To Jiang Qin, 50 great rejuvenating pills was just a drop in the bucket. It wasn't worth mentioning. There was nothing he could do about it. Money couldn't buy what he liked. Tang Wan regarded the 10-vein great recovery pill as a treasure, but what Jiang Qin cared about the most was the book. He hoped that it wouldn't disappoint him. No one was at a disadvantage. Everyone was just taking what they needed. This water chestnut flower treasure codex was worthless to Tang Wan, but its reputation was worth 1,000 taels of gold. As for whether they could obtain any treasures from it, that would depend on their own luck. However, this 10-vein great recovery pill was an earth-shattering treasure to their auction house. Tang Wan knew that it wouldn't be easy to tie down Jiang Qin. She had to do something. Mr. Jiangqin, I know that you care about your son. Trust me, I will give you an answer within 7 days. Before Jiangqin could say anything, Tang Wan had already made her stance clear. She wanted Jiangqin to rely on her because she was the #1 existence in the Great Tang. This was her only chance. She had to strike first. Although Tang Wan was utilitarian, this was how merchants were. There was no problem with putting profit above all else. Her greatest dream was to quickly find news of Jiang Chen's son. This was her trump card. Okay, I'll go back first. I'll be waiting for your good news. Many thanks. Jiang Chen clasped his hands and left the auction house. Okay, I'll see Mr. Jiang Chen off. Tang Wan had a graceful figure. She twisted her waist and walked with light steps, a smile on her face. What man wouldn't like such a woman? In the entire Great Tang, countless people regarded Tang Wan as their dream lover. After Jiang Chen and the others left the auction house, Tang Wan's face turned grim and callous. This kind of woman was the epitome of a murderous and strong woman. Old Gong, find everyone in the black market and find Jiang Feng's whereabouts. Pay any price for his son. Tang Wan's voice was cold and stern. Gong Lianqing's heart skipped a beat. He had never seen such a terrifying and serious side of the Mississippi. Her eyes were extremely calm. Gong Lianqing's heart was also incomparably shocked. It seemed that the young miss was serious this time. Is this Jiang Chen really worth Mrs. Treatment? Gong Lianqing whispered. There are some things that we need to see the essence of. Jiang Chen, I must keep him here. Otherwise I'll see your head. Go, don't delay my business. 7 days. If he's alive, I want to see him. If he's dead, I want to see his corpse. No matter what, I want to know about him. Otherwise I'll see your head. Tang Wan's words sent a chill down Gong Lianqing's spine. Yes, yes, yes. I'll do it now. Gong Lianqing hurriedly accepted the order and left. The things that the HSBC auction house wanted to know wouldn't take more than 3 days. He had to handle this matter perfectly. Otherwise, the young lady would keep her words. It wasn't impossible for him to lose his head. After finding a quiet courtyard, Jiang Chen and Chen Lu finally rested. However, on the way back, Chen Lu was unhappy. Jiang Chen knew that she must have been suppressed by Tang Wan's aura. This woman is a vixen. I think she's trying to hold you back. Big brother Jiang Chen, you can't fall into her trap. Chen Lu said. She keeps throwing flirtatious glances at you. I can't stand it anymore. If it wasn't for big brother Jiang Chen finding a son, I would have turned against her long ago. Jiang Chen shook his head with a smile. You recommended this place to me. You said that they have the best information network in the Great Tang. Jiang Chen said helplessly. Chen Lu blushed. She had shot herself in the foot. The gains did not make up for the losses. However, this was also for brother Jiang Chen to find his son. Chen Lu's intentions were good. But she really did want to seduce you. I saw big brother Jiang Chen with my own eyes. She saw that you have so many pills, that's why she wanted to tie you to her body. Chen Lu said anxiously. I'm not someone who can be tied up by anyone. I know her intentions, but I have a favor to ask of her. Jiang Chen waved his hand. He did not care about this at all. Alright, don't mind the details. However, what Jiang Chen didn't know was that the most difficult thing to do was to accept a beauty's kindness. Chen Lu still had deep feelings for him, which was why she was so afraid of Tang Wan. If Tang Wan managed to catch up to him, Chen Lu would probably cry to death. Hurry up and cultivate. I can see that you're about to break into the 8th heavenly layer. Then I'll go rest, brother Jiang Chen. Chen Lu nodded and left Jiang Chen's room. The two of them had bought an old residence, so there were many rooms. Jiang Chen wanted to study the water chestnut flower treasure book and the azure monkey. When he let the azure monkey out, the little fellow cautiously looked around. Finally, its gaze fell on Jiang Chen as if it was extremely vigilant. Do you know how to speak? Where are you from? If you don't, then we can communicate spiritually. Jiang Chen said to the azure monkey. I'll ask and you'll answer. If you dare to speak nonsense, you should know what will happen to you. You're not very useful to me, but if you can satisfy my conditions, I'll let you go. The azure monkey was surprised, but it seemed to be at a loss, as if it was afraid that Jiang Chen would go back on his word. However, the azure monkey still nodded. It could understand every word Jiang Chen said. Where are you from? Kueiwood Star. The azure monkey said. You have a surge of star energy in your body. Where did it come from? Jiang Chen was overjoyed and continued asking. The azure monkey was stunned and shook its head. I don't know. Our Greenon clan has been like this since birth. You don't know this kind of power? As Jiang Chen flipped his palm, A surge of star energy flickered with blue starlight. It was like a transparent star that spun continuously in his palm. The azure monkey's eyes were filled with fear. It instantly knelt in front of Jiang Chen and kowtowed repeatedly. At this moment even Jiang Chen was stunned. He looked at the azure monkey in disbelief. Why was the azure monkey kowtowing to him? Ancestor, are you really the ancestor of our Greenon clan? The azure monkey changed its previous disdain and cautiousness and asked excitedly. I'm not the ancestor you're talking about. Jiang Chen frowned. Now you are. You must be the ancestor of our Greenon clan. No wonder even the people from the HSBC auction house couldn't open the water chestnut treasure book. Jiang Chen was delighted. If they could understand the secrets of the water chestnut treasure book, they probably wouldn't have put it up for auction. Of course he was also puzzled. Whether or not he could solve this mystery would depend on his own abilities and luck. Jiang Chen entered the Buddha prison palace carefully. Without any distractions, he began to comprehend the array formation sealed around the water chestnut treasure book. As an immortal lord, an existence second only to the eternal lord, his cultivation level must be extremely heaven-defying. There was no doubt that the items left behind by the immortal lord would be terrifying. Thinking of the black-clothed man who had competed with him, Jiang Chen couldn't help but feel puzzled. It seemed that he had to be on guard against this person. His eyes before he left were definitely filled with hatred. A gentleman's wealth is his ruin. He had to quickly open the water chestnut treasure book. Moreover, the Great Tang didn't seem like a place to stay for long. Fortunately, it wouldn't be long before he left this place. Jiang Chen put in a lot of effort and finally broke the formation that was sealing the three-layer maze formation around the three-layer maze formation. No one was able to open the three-layer maze formation. If it wasn't for Jiang Chen, the three-layer maze formation would have been hidden for the rest of its life. Jiang Chen believed that even an ordinary array master would not be able to do this. This water chestnut immortal lord was not simple. The water chestnut treasure book was opened. It was a box with two items inside. One was a beautiful hairpin that shone brilliantly, but Jiang Chen didn't see anything strange about it. The second item was a book with the words Water Chestnut Treasure Book written on it. It seemed like this was the original water chestnut treasure book. What secrets did it hold that could make people so obsessed? What did the water chestnut immortal lord leave behind for his descendants? After opening the water chestnut treasure book, Jiang Chen's eyes lit up. This was a divine technique. The water chestnut treasure book is born from pinching a flower. A single finger of the water chestnut can move mountains, fill seas, reverse yin and yang, shift the universe, study the changes of heaven and earth, and simulate the reincarnation of all things. The first is the heaven and earth aspect, causing all things to tremble. The second is the heaven and earth aspect, the third is the mountains and rivers aspect, the fourth is the sentient aspect, and the fifth is the reincarnation aspect. Born from these 5 aspects they are immortal. Jiang Chen murmured. He was extremely shocked. This water chestnut treasure book was indeed a good thing. It was comparable to his 9 tribulations imprisoning heavenly finger. The power of these 5 aspects was not simple. Each aspect seemed to be the ultimate transformation of heaven and earth. It seemed like this water chestnut immortal lord was not an ordinary person. Jiang Chen's heart was pounding. He cultivated the water chestnut treasure book with all his might. This water chestnut treasure book was definitely a godly technique. It was no wonder that countless people would go crazy over it. It was a pity that no one could unlock it. Otherwise it would not be his turn. This water chestnut immortal lord did something good. If Tang Wan knew about it, she would not let it go even if it cost her 100 million source stones. Jiang Chen calmed his mind and began to go all out. He kept devouring grade 9 source stones, and his strength continued to strengthen. In 2 days, Jiang Chen had completely stabilized his strength at the 9th heaven of the star state. Now he could fight against a half-step nebula state without any pressure. He would not be as pathetic as when he was in the western border. However, at this time there were only a few grade 9 source stones left. Jiang Chen's strength had increased by a lot, but he had also used up a large number of source stones. At this time Jiang Chen was fully prepared. He planned to go to the Kuewood planet to find out what was going on. How long will it take to get to the Kuewood planet from here? Jiang Chen asked. About 1.5 years. Di Luo pondered. What if we have this? Within 3 days it should be enough, right? Jiang Chen took out the Zhonglan divine boat. Di Luo's face was instantly filled with shock. It seemed that the ancestor was indeed very powerful, but why was his strength so weak? This is a flying artifact that can travel through the universe and the eternal world? Di Luo was naturally not ignorant and ill-informed. When he saw the azure wave's divine boat, his heart was filled with reverence for his ancestor. With this flying artifact we don't need 3 days. We can probably reach the Kuei-Wood planet in 2.5 days. Di Luo said excitedly. Then let's go. We'll depart immediately. Jiang Qin nodded. However, just as he was about to tell Qin Lu, a terrifying qi descended from the sky and enveloped the entire old mansion. The area within a few miles seemed to have been completely sealed. Chapter 51-51. Jiang Qin's heart sank. He didn't expect that he would encounter trouble just as he was about to leave this place. At this moment, Qin Lu also felt an immense pressure. She hurriedly walked out of her room, only to see Big Bro Jiang Qin and the Azure Monkey standing in the courtyard with a solemn expression on their faces. What's going on? Big Bro Jiang Qin? Qin Lu still had a puzzled expression on her face. Although her perception wasn't as strong as Jiang Qin's, she could still feel that something was wrong. There was a high possibility that they were surrounded and wouldn't be able to move an inch. Jiang Qin glanced at Qin Lu and nodded his head. Someone might have already set their eyes on us. Jiang Qin's perception definitely wasn't something Qin Lu could compare to. His innate astral soul had already sensed the pressure from a long time ago, and it was rushing towards them. Come out. Since you're already here, don't tell me you're planning to set up camp here? Jiang Qin coldly said. At this moment, 10 silhouettes silently appeared in the courtyard. Although Jiang Qin had already set up a formation, these people came prepared. Although it would be difficult to break the formation, they still had to leave this place eventually. Since the other party had already rushed over, there was no need for him to continue pretending. Since they wanted to come, there was no need for them to return. As expected of a man that could move Sister Qin Lu's heart. This aura and courage is truly admirable. Jiang Qin, we meet again. Xuanhuan's appearance wasn't out of Jiang Qin's expectations. He already knew that it was him. This fellow definitely wouldn't let this matter rest. During the annual auction, he had caused Xuanhuan to lose all his face. How could this young master of a major clan swallow this down? Hence, Xuanhuan's appearance was obvious. If he didn't come, Jiang Qin would be extremely shocked. To the usually domineering Xuanhuan, Jiang Qin was a thorn in his side. Not to mention, Jiang Qin even dared to snatch a woman from him. If this could be tolerated, what could not be tolerated? Men had to act. Xuanhuan had already made up his mind to kill Jiang Qin here to vent the hatred in his heart. He was the local tyrant of Great Tang, the crown prince. For such a thing to happen to him was truly a humiliation. Many people in the annual auction had witnessed themselves being suppressed by Jiang Qin twice. They had no way to fight back and could only wait to be trampled on. However, it was different now. If he wanted to kill him, it would be as easy as flipping his palm. Xuanhuan, what are you trying to do? Qin Lu's heart sank. Looking at the expert behind him, a bad premonition welled up in her heart. Xuanhuan sneered and shook his head. What do I want to do? How could you not know? I'm going to kill him today and then take you for myself. Isn't that my goal? Ah. This person must die. Xuanhuan said it. You lunatic. We have no feud with you. Why are you doing this? Qin Lu stared at Xuanhuan angrily. This guy was obviously angry because he failed to woo her. Now he was venting his anger on brother Jiang Qin. This matter had started because of her. You're really a little cutie, Qin Lu. He spoke rudely to me at the entrance of the HSBC auction. He doesn't know what's good for him. He humiliated me again and again at the annual auction? And he has no feud with me? What kind of hatred does he have for me to treat him like this? Who do you think you are? You're just a whore. In my eyes, you're a slut. I'm going to ravage you and throw you into the 10,000 snakes cave. Ah. Xuanhuan's eyes were cold. He was originally deeply in love with Qin Lu, but this ungrateful woman actually belittled him and humiliated him in front of other men. This hatred had been buried deep in Xuanhuan's heart. Now that such a good opportunity had presented itself, he had to make Jiang Qin pay the price. As a young master of the Great Tang, he had the strength. Moreover, Jiang Qin definitely had many secrets on him. Since this guy had obtained the Water Caltrip treasure book, he definitely had other great treasures. This Water Caltrip treasure book had been sold for an astronomical price of 50 million. Who knew how many people dreamed of it? The treasure in Jiang Qin's hands was also something he urgently wanted. Qin Lu was no longer attractive at this moment. He just wanted to get it in passing. Jiang Qin was his ultimate goal. As one of the 4 great clans of the Great Tang, Xuanhuan still had the strength and boldness to do so. You bastard. Do you know that if you do this you might get the HSBC auction house? Don't forget that big brother Jiang Qin is Miss Tang Wan's honored guest. Qin Lu glared at Xuanhuan angrily. She brought up Tang Wan from the HSBC auction house in an attempt to stop Xuanhuan. However, Xuanhuan was not easily intimidated. Even if Tang Wan was here he would not stop. After all, he had come to find Jiang Qin today. Tang Wan alone could not control the situation. Unless Tang Wan was prepared to start a war with the Zhou clan. This was not the HSBC auction. Do you think that Tang Wan is his protective talisman? I Xuanhuan am not afraid of her. I Xuanhuan have never needed anyone to teach me how to do things. Xuanhuan took a step forward. With boundless killing intent, he glared at Jiang Qin. No one could stop him. Anyone who dared to stand in his way would suffer a fate worse than death. Even Qin Lu was no exception. In Xuanhuan's eyes, Qin Lu was no longer that important. Right now Jiang Qin was the treasure in his eyes. Qin Lu didn't expect things to develop to this point. The masters behind Xuanhuan weren't to be trifled with. The power of the four major families in Tang was terrifying. It wasn't something the Shijiang forces could take on, especially the Zhou clan. It's rare for young noble Zhou to be in such a mood. In that case we can't be biased. Since you want to play, I will keep you company to the end. Jiang Qin smiled. Despite facing Xuanhuan who came prepared, he wasn't afraid at all. These guys were indeed strong, but his power had completely stabilized at the level 9 star state. With such combat power, Jiang Qin was confident that he could dominate all cosmic cloud states. Xuanhuan was arrogant and presumptuous, but unfortunately he encountered Lu Qin. Big brother Jiang Qin, they have the numbers advantage. These people aren't easy to deal with. The 9 experts behind Xuanhuan still put a lot of pressure on Qin Lu. After all, they were in someone else's territory, not the western frontier. Among them there were at least 3 level 9 star states. The rest were all level 8 star states. Chapter 51-52. The reason why Xuanhuan could be so confident was naturally because of the experts behind him. These people were the backbone of the Zhou family. Any two of them could easily destroy a small force. A mere Jiang Qin? He didn't care about him at all. How elegant. Since you're so happy, I'll naturally play with you. Pity you won't get a single treasure or beauty. Xuanhuan stood with his hands behind his back, his gaze cold as he stared at Jiang Qin with killing intent. Don't worry, with me here, they won't be able to harm a single hair of yours. Jiang Qin said confidently. Not bad, this man isn't bad. He didn't leave you at the crucial moment. Ah. But today, I'm afraid you two will have to part ways. Xuanhuan's expression was sinister. Don't worry, I definitely won't kill him, Qin Lu. I'll ravage you in front of him. I'll let him have a different experience. Aren't women meant to be played with? Am I right, Jiang Qin? You bastard. You're a shameless person. Qin Lu clenched her fists, wanting to tear Xuanhuan to pieces. There's no point in talking so much. Let's see if you can have the last laugh. If I want to kill you, I won't have to go through too much trouble. Jiang Qin and Xuanhuan stared at each other. Sparks finally burst out from their eyes. Courting death. Then I'll send you on your way. Xuanhuan said coldly. Do it. With a roar, 3-star level 9 powerhouses swiftly rushed forward. 6-star level 8 powerhouses followed closely behind. The 9 experts immediately surrounded Jiang Qin. Little sister Qin Lu, let me see if your strength has improved. Xuanhuan approached Qin Lu. Qin Lu's gaze turned cold. She was now a peak star level 7 and was chosen by the Qin clan's ancestral land. Although Xuanhuan was a star state level 8, Qin Lu wasn't afraid of him. Moreover, there was no way to retreat from this battle. In the blink of an eye, big brother Jiang Qin had already confronted the 9 masters. The situation was very difficult. Brother Jiang Qin, be careful. Qin Lu was filled with worry. You should worry about yourself first, Xuanhuan did not have the slightest bit of tenderness towards the fairer sex. He wanted to capture Qin Lu first and then use her to threaten the other party. However, Xuanhuan was still very confident in the 9 experts behind him. It would be a piece of cake for these 9 people to deal with Jiang Qin. Kill. The leading Star Realm expert led the group to attack Jiang Qin's vitals without a care in the world. Jiang Qin laughed coldly. His eyes were cold. Naturally, he did not fear danger. He held his saber horizontally, unmoving like a mountain. After dragon transformation, Jiang Qin's power and spirit were extremely domineering. Clashing with the 9 experts, it was simply earth-shattering. Jiang Chen's power had completely stabilized at the star level 9. These 9 couldn't shake him at all. Fighting 1 against 9, Jiang Chen still had some leeway. The 9 people's power was indeed extraordinary. To be able to work for the Zhou family, how could they be weak? This time, in order to be absolutely safe, xuanhuan found 3-star level 9 experts to hold the fort. Now that both sides were in a stalemate, xuanhuan frowned. What were these people doing? Still not ending the battle quickly? Xuanhuan roared. However, he didn't expect that these people were even more anxious than him. But did they really think that Jiang Chen was as weak as they said? If they could kill Jiang Chen, they would have done it long ago. Why wait until now? In the blink of an eye, tens of moves had passed. However, Jiang Chen was still undefeatable. And at this moment, the 9 experts seemed to be struggling. Jiang Chen was unruffled. These people weren't weak. It was a pity that they met him. For such an intense battle, it was just right for Jiang Chen. After all, there were still 3-star level 9 experts, right? He still had to give them some face. At this time, Jiang Chen's gaze was on Qin Lu. Her strength was what Jiang Chen cared about. Although there was a gap between the two, Qin Lu didn't disappoint him. Against xuanhuan, who was stronger than him by a level, Qin Lu instead fought bravely. This was what made Jiang Chen happy. Seeing that Qin Lu was fine, it was time for him to stretch his muscles. At this time, Jiang Chen shook his head. The light in his eyes began to burn. The real battle had just begun. In that case, let me see just how capable you motley crew are. Jiang Chen sneered. With the heavenly dragon sword in his hand, the sword aura was like a hot knife through butter. The 9 experts didn't expect Jiang Chen to be so terrifying. 6 8th heavenly layer star realm experts couldn't even withstand Jiang Chen's attack. Even if the 6 of them joined forces, they could only match a 9th heavenly layer star realm expert. Moreover, Jiang Chen's attack was so powerful that it didn't give them any chance. Jiang Chen didn't have any distractions. The heavenly dragon sword came and went freely. The limitless sword was unruffled. In less than 10 moves, the 9 of them were completely pinned down by Jiang Chen. The 3-star level 9 experts were even more cautious. However, Jiang Chen's strength was too strong. They had never met such a terrifying expert before. After a series of crazy attacks, Jiang Chen wasn't injured at all. Moreover, Jiang Chen's heavenly dragon sword was extremely dazzling. They could only advance step by step. When they were injured by Jiang Chen's sword, they couldn't retaliate at all. The limitless sword began to provide Jiang Chen with the simplest and most brutal attack. Jiang Chen hadn't even used his true killer move, and these people were already retreating. Xuanhuan saw this scene and was completely dumbfounded. Jiang Chen was actually this insane. These people were the top experts of their Zhou clan. Could it be that they had to find their ancestor? Jiang Chen's strength alone swept through the universe, causing the 9 experts to fall into a desperate situation. They originally thought that the 9 of them were more than enough to kill Jiang Chen. However, they were now being pinned down instead. Xuanhuan was extremely anxious. If this continued, wouldn't he lose? More importantly, under Qin Lu's continuous bombardment, he had fallen into a perilous situation. Damn it, I'm the Zhou clan's young master, yet I ended up like this. Did you guys not eat? A bunch of trash. Hurry up and kill him. Chapter 51-53. Shocking. An indescribable shock. Xuanhuan's eyes were filled with horror. He never thought that Jiang Chen's strength would be this terrifying. The subordinates that he was so proud of were actually killed by Jiang Chen in a short period of time. Although they were star level 8 experts, they were not easy to deal with. With so many of them joining hands, they were still repelled by Jiang Chen. Moreover, in an instant, their heads were separated from their bodies. This scene was something that Xuanhuan could not accept no matter what. Isn't this too sick? He had already calculated everything beforehand, but he never thought that the clown would become him. He thought that it was foolproof, but it was actually full of loopholes. He was already in a very passive position now. Under Qin Lu's suppression, he had no strength to retaliate at all. Originally, he was hoping that these people would come and save him. But now, it seemed that the beauty had become a pipe dream. He had to consider his own path of retreat. The remaining 3-star level 9 experts were Xuanhuan's last trump card. However, these 3 people seemed to be very cautious. Under Jiang Chen's reckless suppression, they seemed to be in a difficult situation. Kill. Kill. Xuanhuan roared madly, but it was useless. Jiang Chen was too strong. With the heavenly dragon sword in his hand, he was invincible. The 3-star level 9 experts had no place to use their skills. Moreover, they were in a difficult situation. If this continued, there would only be one result: they would all die. Jiang Qin strolled leisurely, calm and unruffled. Wherever his sword pointed, the 3-star level 9 experts were in a difficult situation. They could not understand why Jiang Qin had just broken through not long ago. Why were the 3 of them unable to move him? Isn't this too horrifying? Facts speak louder than words. Jiang Qin's strength had completely exceeded their imagination. With his strength alone, he was able to dominate the universe. The 3-star level 9 experts, who were usually high and mighty, were now like drowning dogs, fleeing in all directions. Under the suppression of Jiang Qin's heavenly dragon sword, their injuries became more and more severe. Even Qin Lu hadn't expected such an outcome. Big brother Jiang Qin was able to remain so calm and unruffled while facing so many experts by himself. It was really not easy. Most importantly, big brother Jiang Qin didn't have any problems at all. He even had the upper hand. It seemed that xuanhuan was going to suffer a setback. As expected of my most admired big brother Jiang Qin. Qin Lu's heart was filled with pride. Furthermore, she was also very cautious when fighting against xuanhuan. She had used all her techniques to put xuanhuan in a disadvantageous position. Even breathing had become very difficult. Big brother Jiang Qin was invincible. In this battle, xuanhuan had obviously lost. Get lost. Sword 31. The merciless absolute sword swept across the land. The 3 great experts were all pushed back by Jiang Qin. Their faces were pale, but they were still able to protect themselves by using their full strength. However, they could not withstand the sharpness of Jiang Qin's sword. Jiang Qin was too strong. Kill? Jiang Qin had never thought of showing mercy. At this time he only had one goal: kill. Kill without mercy. Since xuanhuan brought people here, it meant that he wanted to kill him. If someone wanted to kill him, did he have to put down the butcher's knife? Jiang Qin had never been a kind person. Killing xuanhuan was his ultimate goal. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for not knowing what's good for you, insisting on going against me. Jiang Qin sneered in his heart. At this time, the 3 experts already didn't dare to continue forward. Jiang Qin, on the other hand, aimed at xuanhuan with killing intent. A deafening sword chime rang out. Xuanhuan couldn't avoid it and was defeated in one move. Blood spurted out from his shoulder and he retreated with serious injuries. His face was extremely pale. He wasn't a match for Jiang Qin at all. Pooh! Xuanhuan spurted out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. He struggled to get up, his face full of fear. Don't kill me. Xuanhuan's face was pale as he said in fear. Don't kill you? Then what's the point of keeping you alive? Jiang Qin sneered. You and I have no enmity. Let's part ways here. Please let me go, Jiang Qin. I promise I won't fight with you for Qin Lu anymore. I swear to God. Xuanhuan hurriedly said. No enmity? Ah, what a joke. You wanted to kill me and take my treasure. Now that you've been exposed, you say we have no enmity? Do you really think that I, Jiang Qin, am a 3-year-old kid? Jiang Qin was so angry that he started laughing. You came to find someone to kill me, and now that you're no match for me, you say that you have no enmity with me? Do you really think that I'm that easy to brush off? We've already reached a point where we can't rest until one of us is dead. If I were the one injured right now, would you still have the confidence to say that there's no enmity between us? Do you think that Lulu is someone that you can lay your hands on? Now that we've come to blows and our lives are on the line, you still have the face to say that there's no enmity between us? Jiang Qin kicked xuanhuan, sending him flying more than 10 meters away. Xuanhuan felt as if his bones had been shattered, and he was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. Only fear and despair could be seen in his eyes. From the initial arrogance, he was now trembling all over. Xuanhuan was like a tortoise, curling up and looking at Jiang Qin with a pleading expression. I'm the young master of one of the great Tang's 4 great clans, Jiang Qin. I beg you, please don't kill me. I can give you a lot of wealth and treasures. I can give you supreme glory. Don't kill me. I beg you, don't kill me. Xuanhuan kept kowtowing to Jiang Qin, but it was too late now. Jiang Qin had already made up his mind to kill him. Big brother Jiang Qin, why don't we just forget it? Qin Lu's gaze was a little complicated. She couldn't be feeling sorry for xuanhuan, but she felt that if big brother Jiang Qin really did kill xuanhuan, it would incur the wrath of the entire Zhou clan. Big brother Jiang Qin might be very strong, but it was impossible for him to fight against the Zhou clan alone. Even the HSBC auction house couldn't really shed all pretense of cordiality with the Zhou clan. Most importantly, The Zhou clan had tens of thousands of years of history in the Great Tang. They were deeply rooted, and shaking the Zhou clan would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Xuanhuan was the young master of the Zhou clan, and his status was respected. If anything happened to him, the Zhou clan would definitely be in an uproar. He insulted you and wanted to kill me. This kind of person can't be left alive. Chapter 51-54. Jiangchen walked towards Xuanhuan step by step. Xuanhuan's face was ashen. He could see that Jiangchen did not plan to give him any chance at all. Jiangchen, if you kill me, the Zhou clan will make sure you die without a burial ground. You will not be able to escape from the Zhou clan no matter where you go. Xuanhuan was hysterical. He was trying to look tough, but he was weak at heart. But even so, Jiangchen still ignored his existence. The heavenly dragon sword let out a series of sword cries. It swept across the sky and began to point at Xuanhuan. No, no! Xuanhuan shook his head with all his might. His face was extremely pale. At this moment, the 3-star level 9 experts saw this and their hearts sank. Why are you still not coming to save me? What's the use of you? Xuanhuan roared. The three looked at each other and gritted their teeth. They were still prepared for the last fight. They had to save their young master even if they died. Otherwise, even if they returned to the Zhou clan, they would not be able to escape the blame. However, the three of them still could not block Jiangchen's fatal attack. Jiangchen roared. The long sword cries pierced through the sky. One of the star level 9 experts was instantly pierced through. The heavenly dragon sword fell down and directly cut 2 people in half. The other one was naturally Xuanhuan. The remaining 2-star level 9 experts were so scared that their souls left their bodies. They quickly ran away. At this moment, Jiangchen also did not bother to chase them because he was already prepared to leave this place. Even if he offended the Zhou clan, so what? Xuanhuan could not believe that Jiangchen actually killed him. He was the eldest young master of the Zhou clan. However, in front of Jiangchen, even the 9 Heavens God Emperor was not in his eyes. Whoever dared to block his way would only be dead. Big brother Jiangchen, you have to leave Great Tang as soon as possible. If not, the Zhou family will never let this matter go. You've killed Xuanhuan and the Zhou family will be furious. They will definitely start a bloody war. Qin Lu's face was filled with worry. Jiangchen was unmoved. If he wanted to kill, he would kill to his heart's content. Those 2 fellows would not be able to escape from his palm. Jiangchen used the sky ascension stairway. His speed was shocking. In an instant he caught up to the 2 fleeing star levels. The 2 of them fought with their lives on the line. However, how could Jiangchen give them a chance? Although the strength of these 2 people was not weak, they were already defeated. Moreover, Xuanhuan and another 9th heavenly layer companion were already dead. How could they still have the mood to fight? They wholeheartedly wanted to escape, but Jiangchen was hot on their heels. Facing the heavy rain of swords, their hearts were incomparably bleak, and they only wanted to escape with their lives. 32 swords. Jiangchen pulled out his sword and stood straight. The 2 figures that were rushing towards him were directly cut in half by Jiangchen. In the end, they did not even have the chance to scream. In the void, blood splattered everywhere. The entire old house had been covered by Jiangchen's formation. Therefore, no matter how big the commotion was, it would not attract the attention of the surrounding people. Brother Jiangchen, I'm afraid that something bad might happen if we delay. Let's go. There is no wall in this world that can't pass through. Qin Lu said softly. All right, but I'm preparing to go to Kuei Star this time. You should come with me. Otherwise, I'm worried that they will find trouble with you. Jiangchen said. Kuei Star? If we go there, can we still make it back in time to participate in the Qin clan's ancestral land trial? Qin Lu frowned. Don't worry, we will be back in a few days. Jiangchen smiled. I'm afraid you won't have this chance. A cold voice sounded in Jiangchen's ears. This time, even he did not notice who the person was. However, the strength of this person made Jiangchen not dare to be careless. He was as if he was facing a formidable enemy. Who? Qin Lu shouted. A black-clothed man with a golden mask appeared proudly between the heavens and earth. Jiangchen's heart suddenly sank. This guy seemed to have come prepared. You're here to snatch my water chestnut flower treasure book. Jiangchen knew that this person was the one who appeared at the HSBC auction house. You have a good eye. However, since you're so rich, I'll let you have it. Now you can give it to me. I can promise you one thing. The black-clothed man said with a smile. This is your only chance to live. Jiangchen didn't expect this black-clothed man to be so arrogant. However, this black-clothed man's strength did make Jiang Chen feel fear. He didn't even notice the black-clothed man appearing near his formation. Even his natal astral soul couldn't sense his existence. You seem to be very confident. However, I don't need this chance. If you want my item, you need to have a reason to do so. Jiang Chen smiled. The black-clothed man was not angry. He shook his head. Initially, I wanted to obtain the water chestnut flower treasure book openly. However, it's a pity that you insisted on competing with me. Now that I've given you a chance, you're useless. It seems like you're going to be buried here. Don't make yourself sound so dignified. In the end, aren't you here to snatch my treasure? What's the difference between you and those fellows who deserve to die? You're clearly a bandit, yet you still flaunt yourself so high and mighty. I really feel sorry for you. Jiang Chen sneered. Fine, it seems like you really don't know who you're talking to. In that case, I'll give you a chance to start over. Don't be so arrogant in your next life because you don't know who you're talking to. I hope you can have a next life. The black-clothed man took off his mask, revealing a devilishly charming face. He was handsome and confident, but his eyes were blood-red, giving off a very strange feeling. Chen Lu frowned. Who is this person? It didn't seem to give them too much pressure, but it was hard for them to even breathe. Such a powerful aura, such dominating eyes. His blood-red pupils gave off a bloodthirsty feeling, as if they possessed boundless magical power. Arrogant and conceited. Let's see how much you're worth. Jiang Chen's expression was serious. He knew that this person wasn't simple. He might not be any weaker than the half-step cosmic cloud state he fought before. This battle would be very difficult. But now that things had come to this, Jiang Chen wasn't going to let go of the water chestnut flower treasure book for sure. He spent a fortune to get the water chestnut flower treasure book. How could he let someone else have it? If they wanted to fight, then so be it. Jiang Chen wanted to test his limits. Laughable, pathetic, pitiful. Chapter 51-55. Jiang Chen had been keeping his guard up against this man in black, but he didn't expect that he would still show up in the end. Xuanhuan didn't even have the right to carry his shoes before him. Although Jiang Chen had seen countless masters and experienced hundreds of battles, he had to admit that he had no confidence against this man. Powerful beings emitted a powerful aura from their bones. Jiang Chen was arrogant, but he wasn't arrogant to the point of being arrogant. Today's battle was more likely to lose than win. This wasn't Jiang Chen's first time in a battle like this, but he felt powerless from the bottom of his heart. This man was extremely difficult to deal with. Chen Lu didn't realize how terrifying this man was, but Jiang Chen knew that no matter what, he had to give it his all in this battle. There's no point in talking. If you want to kill me, it'll depend on your luck. Jiang Chen drew his sword and pointed it at the black-clothed man. The instant their gazes met, it was as though lightning had ignited the earth. Terrifying chi interweaved in the world. Brother Jiang Chen, be careful. This man isn't simple. Chen Lu said in a deep voice. This man's strength was much scarier than those 9th heavenly layer star realm experts. But with big brother Jiang Chen's current strength, he shouldn't be in danger, right? It's your honor to die in my hands. Kuang Heng said plainly. What? Your dark feather sword sex, Kuang Heng? Chen Lu's expression changed drastically. Her pretty face was covered in frost, and her eyes had a sliver of fear. Oh? How many years has it been? There's still someone who remembers my name? Kuang Heng looked at Chen Lu in shock. Brother Jiang Chen, let's go. We can't beat him. Chen Lu transmitted her voice. Who doesn't know dark feather sword sex Kuang Heng? 7,000 years ago, he fought against 6 masters alone and killed 3 half-step cosmic cloud states. This shocked the entire Tianqian planet. Countless galactic wanderers trembled in fear upon hearing his name. No one dares to provoke him, but he is forbidden from entering the Tianqian planet. Anyone who dares to do so will be killed without mercy. I didn't expect you to come to Tianqian Star. Chen Lu's gaze was extremely complicated, filled with worry and shock. However, the name of the Dark Feather Sword sect was well known. Even after so many years, Chen Lu still did not forget that there was such a terrifying existence in the long history of the Tianqian Star. Things remain the same, but people change. After so many years, I never thought that my name would still be remembered by people. However, in this land, no one can judge me, not even the heavens. Today, if I kill you too, who will know that I have been to the heavenly star? Even if they knew, if I, Kuang Heng, want to leave, who can stop me? Kuang Heng stood with his hands clasped behind his back. His murderous aura pierced through the clouds like a deity descending from the heavens. Even Jianghu was shocked. 7,000 years ago he was able to kill 3 half-step cosmic cloud states. Had he broken through to the half-step cosmic cloud state? Jianghu couldn't imagine it, but now that things had come to this, even if they wanted to leave, Xuanhuan would not let them go. It was impossible to run. They could only fight to the last moment. He hadn't heard of his name, but Qinlu's expression was enough to know that this guy was a taboo on the Tianqian star. His name was removed from the planet. That's why he hid his identity at the HSBC auction. Otherwise, why would he choose this method to deal with him? Kneel down now and I might be able to leave your corpses intact. Otherwise, you will be turned into ashes, your souls will scatter and your bones will disappear. Xuanhuan said plainly. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. He had already announced the death penalty for Jianghu and Qinlu. You only talk but not practice. Show me some real power. Let me see if you really live up to your reputation. Jianghu smiled. Brother Jianghu, we dash. Qinlu still wanted to say something, but she was interrupted by Jianghu. It was too late to run. They could only face it head-on. You're confident, but you're not qualified to challenge me. If it was back then, I would have slapped you to death. Some people like to humiliate themselves. Xuanhuan wasn't angry. In his eyes, Jianghu was just like an ant trying to shake a tree. Why should he be angry? He just felt they were laughable. Limitless sword come. Jianghu attacked with a killing move. If he didn't seize the opportunity, he would become more and more passive, shocking the world with a single brilliant move. Jianghu's murderous intent penetrated the heavenly dragon sword and shot up into the sky. Come. Xuanhuan was as still as a mountain, standing with his hands behind his back. In the face of Jianghu's powerful sword chi, he was calm and unruffled. His every movement was imposing, making it impossible for others to see any flaws. Xuanhuan seemed to have merged with heaven and earth. His expression was calm and serious. With a light tap of his finger, Genesis chi surged over. A powerful finger force descended from the sky. Jianghu stood with his sword as if facing a great enemy. He swept across the sky, and the heavenly dragon sword was almost crushed. Jianghu's face was grim. This power was destructive. It seemed like a simple finger, but he knew that an ordinary 9th layer star level expert would have died on the spot. Clang! Jianghu's heavenly dragon sword seemed to have slashed against metal. It was repelled and his whole body was numb. This power was completely transmitted to him as if it was directed to him. Jianghu's eyes were filled with horror. This person was too terrifying, so powerful that it made one's hair stand on end. Jianghu didn't want to give up. He raised his sword again and swept across the void. The limitless sword also encountered unprecedented pressure. Sword 31. Sword 32. Each sword was stronger than the one before. Each sword was like a flying immortal, cutting through the void and descending from the clouds. Insignificant tricks. How dare you show off in front of an expert? You overestimate yourself. Xuanhuan slapped out with his palm, scattering the clouds. Heaven and earth changed colors. It was like a giant net that crushed down, causing the heavens to tremble. But Jianghu felt an unprecedented power impact. The limitless sword had completely lost the initiative. For the first time, Jianghu was struck back. His eyes were filled with shock. How is this possible? Jianghu had an ominous feeling. Could it be that he was a cosmic cloud state? Impossible. This was impossible. Jianghu's heart was in turmoil. If this person was really a cosmic cloud state, he would probably lose this battle. A cosmic cloud state was completely different from a half-step cosmic cloud state. There were strong and weak half-step cosmic cloud states, but at least Jianghu was confident that a half-step cosmic cloud state wouldn't be able to defeat him so easily. If he really was a cosmic cloud state, then she and brother Jianghu would be dead for sure. Isn't it too late to know now? Xuanhuan smiled. I've already reminded you long ago to behave yourself, but you just won't listen? Do you know your mistake now? Unfortunately, your death is decided. You've ignited my killing intent. No one can stop me now, not even the heavens. Xuanhuan's confidence came from his power. Cosmic cloud state. How powerful was that? Even in the entire universe, there weren't many cosmic cloud states at the pinnacle of the eternal world. Each cosmic cloud state was considered a powerful being in the world. They had reached a level where they could easily fly across the world. Traveling across the cosmos was no longer a problem. Cosmic cloud states were the dream of countless people. Jiang Qin was no exception. Once he reached the cosmic cloud state, it would be easier for him to find his son. At that time, there wouldn't be many people in the world who could stand against him. Even though he was still quite a distance away from becoming the Eternal Lord, he would at least be able to protect himself. He wouldn't have to submit to anyone anymore. The Xuanhuan in front of him was calm and unruffled. His every movement was overbearing. Jiang Qin should have expected this. At this moment he was like an arrow on a bowstring that had to be released. No one could stop him. He had what Xuanhuan wanted, and Xuanhuan's target was his sword. Even if he wanted to retreat, it was impossible. Xuanhuan's calmness was out of Jiang Qin's expectation. He was calm and confident, as if everything was under his control. No matter how hard Jiang Qin tried, he would not be able to escape from Xuanhuan's grasp. Kill? Jiang Qin didn't stop. He had to keep fighting to have a chance of survival. Xuanhuan was too strong. Jiang Qin wasn't confident at all. However, Xuanhuan was determined to kill him. He had no other choice. 9 tribulation imprisoning heavenly finger. 1 sun finger. Double dragon finger. 3-fold finger. 4 directional finger. Jiang Qin unleashed all of his skills. Every single finger strike was ferocious. The strength of his finger was shocking and could destroy anything. Good move. Xuanhuan smiled faintly. As he stretched out his hand, a thunderous palm strike was unleashed. The domineering palm strike had completely shattered Jiang Qin's 9 tribulations heavenly imprisoning finger. Jiang Qin's body was trembling as he retreated backwards. His face was filled with shock and horror. However, he knew that he had no way out. At this time, Xuanhuan's casual move could make him feel like he was facing a great enemy. 5 elements finger. Jiang Qin's last finger was aimed at Xuanhuan. The powerful finger power pierced through the sky and pressed down. You overestimate yourself. Xuanhuan looked at him coldly. He flipped his palm and the power of his palm appeared again. In the blink of an eye, Jiang Qin was forced to retreat. The finger seal disappeared between heaven and earth without a trace. Jiang Qin was incomparably excited. However, he still couldn't shake Xuanhuan at all. On the contrary, Xuanhuan was forced back once again. Jiang Qin advanced step by step. At this time he was becoming more and more passive. If this continued, it would only become more troublesome and his life would be hanging by a thread. It seems that you don't have the ability to shake me in the slightest. Today I will enforce justice on behalf of the heavens and kill you to resolve the hatred in my heart. Xuanhuan's expression turned frosty. He was already preparing to attack. Milieu palm. Xuanhuan's eyes were like torches. His palm struck out, creating layers of illusions that blotted out the sky and earth. Jiang Qin's expression changed again and again. This guy was too difficult to deal with. Jiang Qin could not contend against a nebula expert. Starlight entered the body. 100 refined stars. Exploding heavenly stars. Jiang Qin activated the Genesis Chi in his body. The golden body treasure image and dragon transformation were unstoppable as they brazenly faced off against Xuanhuan. Then they rapidly retreated with a grim expression. Jiang Qin's body was heavily injured. He spurted out blood again. His eyes flickered, unable to calm down for a long time. Not bad, take one of my attacks. Let's see how long you can last for the second attack. As Xuanhuan turned around, his palm power overturned the sky and earth. Endless mighty power poured down. Jiang Qin's eyes were gloomy. No. Chapter 51-57. Rumble and earth-shattering explosion resounded in the sky. Jiang Qin retreated and knelt on one knee. His expression was grim and his face was covered in dust. However, he still survived this attack. Jiang Qin gritted his teeth and stood up once again. This time, Xuanhuan saw him in a new light. Xuanhuan's eyes flashed. He was quite surprised. This guy did have some power. He was able to withstand multiple of his attacks. It wasn't easy at all. You're very strong indeed. Xuanhuan said plainly. Unfortunately, you met me. Jiang Qin knew that he had no choice in this battle. This cosmic cloud state was too terrifying. He was no match for him at all. 6-spine coiling dragon, Black King, come out. Jiang Qin said. At this moment he needed the help of the 6-spine coiling dragon and the Black King. Even so, they might not be able to win this battle. At least he wouldn't be slaughtered like a stray dog. In the blink of an eye, 2 figures, one black and one gold, appeared soundlessly beside Jiang Qin. The Black King and the 6-spine coiling dragon glanced at each other and stood next to Jiang Qin. Oh, these 2 people are stronger than you? But do you think that you can shake my position with just the few of you? Ah, what wishful thinking. Xuanhuan didn't care. Black King's power had reached the peak of the star state. Meanwhile, Six Spine Coiling Dragon's power had reached the half-cosmic cloud state. His combat power was extraordinary. It had been a long time since it left the mountain. This time, the Six Spine Coiling Dragon's power reached the half-step cosmic cloud state. Even Jianghu was shocked. It seemed this guy had indeed improved by leaps and bounds. Even if I can't kill you, don't even think about suppressing me. Jianghu narrowed his eyes, brimming with confidence. With the help of the Black King and the Six Spine Coiling Dragon, he would not be as passive in this battle as before. Having confidence is a good thing. However, if you're blindly confident, then you're just being arrogant. To me, the few of you are nothing more than grass. As Xuanhuan stepped forward, the world darkened and thunder rumbled. If not for the fact that Jianghu had used a formation to erase this part of the world, the entire Great Tang would have been shaken. How would you know if you don't try? Black King Liuji, prepare to fight to the death. In today's battle, only death awaits. Jianghu immediately held his saber horizontally and pointed it at Xuanhuan. His heart was incomparably solemn. In this battle, what awaited him was only life and death. There were no more chances. The winner was king and the loser was a bandit. This was the final choice. Yes. The two nodded and spoke in unison. The three of them formed an encirclement around Xuanhuan. You're like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Accept your death, a bunch of useless people. Xuanhuan sneered. Even though he was fighting 1 against 3, his momentum was still overwhelming. His fists and palms carried rumbling wind and lightning. Roar, roar. The Six Spine Coiling Dragon instantly returned to its original form and charged to the top of the sky to fight Xuanhuan. Jianghu and the Black King followed closely behind. As the blades clashed, Jianghu and the others used their final trump cards. They couldn't afford to lose this battle. The Black King and the Six Spine Coiling Dragon were telepathically connected with Jianghu. Hence, their teamwork was flawless. Ordinary masters couldn't stop them at all. In addition, the Six Spine Coiling Dragon was a half-step cosmic cloud state. This battle was rather intense and explosive. The more Jianghu fought, the more excited he became. His eyes were filled with unparalleled determination. At this moment, even the world was shaking. Even Xuanhuan didn't dare to be careless. After all, the Six Spine Coiling Dragon was a genuine half-step cosmic cloud state. Hence, Xuanhuan had to take this battle seriously and end it quickly. Otherwise, his opponents might have the upper hand. After all, the Six Spine Coiling Dragon was a genuine half-step cosmic cloud state. Jianghu and the Black King's power were on par with 2 half-step cosmic cloud states. Hence, Xuanhuan had to take this battle seriously and end it quickly. Otherwise, his opponents might have the upper hand. However, a cosmic cloud state was still a cosmic cloud state after all. The power and dominance Xuanhuan displayed completely crushed the three. Even the Six Spine Coiling Dragon couldn't compare. His unrestrained battle intent soared into the sky. Xuanhuan punched out to his heart's content. Very few people could fight with him in such a balanced manner. The Six Spine Coiling Dragon circled in the sky and was responsible for the upper part. Meanwhile, Jianghu and the Black King attacked from the lower part. Xuanhuan fought intensely. In an instant, the battle became white-hot. However, Jianghu knew that his opponent hadn't used his full power yet. The terror of a cosmic cloud state wasn't something he could imagine. He only temporarily stabilized the situation. To kill Xuanhuan, Jianghu knew it was almost impossible. Therefore, his only thought now was to leave this place as soon as possible and escape from the Great Tang. Moreover, he didn't plan to stay here any longer. He planned to go to the Kuei Wood Star to investigate the mysterious Green On clan. At this moment, Jianghu only wanted to escape from Xuanhuan's control. Although the three of them were fighting, they used their full power while Xuanhuan was just taking a stroll. The difference was obvious. The stronger the opponent, the more serious Jianghu would be. If he used his full power, the opponent might just be scratching an itch. He couldn't be careless. Chen Lu's heart was pounding from the side.